everybody.
Bing.
How's it
Bing.
going?
Bing.
Bing. As
The
John
search
Oliver put
engine
it.
of choice.
John Oliver put it, the best way to Google something.
Well, welcome.
Hi.
It's the Three Dudes Show, episode 20 of season 3.
Tweezy! Episode Tweezy!
Episode 3.
Episode 20.
The Tweezy dudes is, you go, hey, what's going on? It's our,
What's good?
I think this is our season finale.
It probably is.
Yeah, you believe
It
that?
sure looks like it.
'Cause
Boy.
next Tuesday's Christmas Eve.
Christmas
And the
Eve.
day after, or the week after that.
Why,
is,
that's tomorrow.
Why? Well, the day.
What?
No, the day after, the week after that would be New Year's
I
Eve.
didn't miss it. The spirits came through in the end.
It's just Dickens around. So anyway, our next couple Tuesdays are full of holiday stuff. So this is our last one of 2019.
Yeah, the next one's going to be the best of.
2019, good fucking riddance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you mean 2016 4.
Yes.
2016 part 4.
That's the thing, is it just keeps happening.
Yep.
It just keeps
Shouldn't have
happening.
fucking shot Harambe, man.
Nope.
Yeah.
That all started with that fucking gorilla.
Now we're caught in a time loop.
Yeah.
Where Donald Trump is preparing his 2024 campaign run.
Okay, here's the thing. That's not a joke.
I know that's not a joke.
Right.
I don't know if you know
No,
that.
Mike Huckabee said he was asked.
Didn't Nixon try the same thing?
I don't think he had
Nixon didn't make it that far.
a chance.
No, but I think he
Oh yeah, talked about it.
Talked about
it.
it.
Wouldn't surprise me because Nixon was a well-known piece of garbage.
Yeah.
Thick Nixon.
Thick Nixon.
And look what happened to him.
I recently started, and actually I realized that last year at this time I was doing the same thing. I recently started re-listening to the audiobook for Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And then the follow-up was, of course, Fear and Loathing on the 72 campaign trail.
Right.
So if in which Nixon got reelected. And Hunter S. Thompson fucking despised authoritarianism,
Sure.
and in particular despised Richard Nixon. So like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas ends up being a novel kind of about the death of the American dream, and Fear and Loathing on the 72 campaign trail kind of ends up being a novel about the burial of the American dream. And you can thank Richard Nixon for that. So
Oh my god.
yeah.
What a horrible thought.
Yeah, it's just getting worse, bud. It's all down here from Hill.
It's all yeah. I don't know. Some good things happened this year, right?
Yeah, well, I got married.
Yeah,
that's
that
cool. I got
happened.
my wedding photos back finally.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Which means you finally saw that picture of us
I was
flipping.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they did.
Yeah. That was really funny in the moment.
I'm sorry those photos took so fucking long.
That's okay. No, I'm guessing that she just forgot to
Yeah.
upload them because there's really like wedding photos. There's not a lot of editing that goes into them if you shot them correctly.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's very little editing that you have to do aside from changing them to like grayscale and
Yeah.
upping your contrast a little
Most
bit.
photographers will do almost everything they can in camera.
Right, exactly.
Then maybe a little bit of
Touch-up work here
Yeah,
and there.
touch-up stuff or special effect, but
Right.
but for the most part, it's in the camera.
Right. EA Sports. It's in the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was nice to go through and see all those. Have all those memories.
Dude, no. I'm so dreading cats coming out.
Oh,
Actually
dude,
coming out.
what a stupid thing. Like, can we be done with that?
Cats is. I'm sorry.
Cats
I'm gonna
wasn't-
say it right now. Cats is dumb.
Musicals are dumb. Musicals aren't, by and large, are not that good.
Most musicals I do not care for.
Yeah, they're not that
There
good.
are exceptions, but for the most part, yeah.
You know it's really terrible. You guys know me. I talk to all sorts of people on the internet on a regular basis. I spend most of my time on the internet.
Yeah.
Not even the furries like it.
That's bad.
Not even the furries like it, dude.
Ooh, speaking of furries, I watched the Down the Rabbit Hole video about furries.
You know, I haven't watched it yet because I've spoken to enough of them. I've befriended some of them
Yeah.
over the years.
That's a good watch. It covers where the where furries come from, like, historically, which is very interesting to me.
That does sound it. That's an angle I never really thought
Yeah,
of. But you do
I
see a
guess-
lot of like animal play stuff in like historical. Like I wouldn't
Yeah.
put it past like the Marquis de Sade to do
It
shit
has
like
its
that.
roots all the way back to Outsider Comics,
No
if
shit.
you can believe it. It's, because it kind of makes some sense. There's like the mainstream comic books, and then there's like people that want to make weird zines and stuff of the stuff they like. And I don't want to spoil the whole video, but it goes that far back, which is amazing to me.
Yeah.
Before people were all wanting to fuck as animals, they were just obsessed with cartoon animals.
Right. That's That's really. That's one I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Not shaming anybody. It's just a weird. I don't get that one.
I think it's one of those things that must go back to like, stuff you watched on TV when you were a kid.
Has to.
Bugs Bunny and Drag, maybe awakened something. I have no idea. but it's weird because like the furries I've talked to and met and spoken to online are just like perfectly ordinary people.
Sure,
it's
just a kink.
They have like this alternate thing that they do. Like avatar wise on the internet, like just how any one of us might put on a personality on the internet.
Sure,
it's just it's taken a step further.
Yeah, right.
But I'll never understand dropping a couple $1,000s on like a full suit with moving jaws and eyes and stuff. Like man, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good with the regular old boring sex.
Just give me the old fashioned.
Well, but like if I'm in that position, I mean, like I'm good with just doing the fucking thing online.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot better things I could spend that money on.
Right.
Morty.
I
mean, like condoms are already so fucking expensive. Mm-hmm. Just to say nothing of all the shit women have to put up with, buying all their stuff.
Oh yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy.
Wait, what are we talking about?
The pink tax, bro.
Any kind of women's product.
Yeah, right.
You can rail on about condoms, which they should be cheaper, but women's contraceptives, any feminine products, it's ridiculous. But anyway, that's why other people are fucked. We are fucked for different or maybe even similar reasons. Maybe one of you guys dropped a couple $1,000s on a fursuit that didn't measure up to your expectations. I don't know.
I'd rather not say, but it's possible.
I can't find one in my size.
Oh no, man! You got to get that custom made.
Yeah, like a big fat,
just a big giant fat squirrel costume. The extra room around the tits.
You figure Chris for a squirrel?
No, not a squirrel, dude. Beaver.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. No, actually, not even a beaver. What? You know what? By the end of this episode, we'll figure out what fursuit I belong.
No,
in.
let's do it right now. Let's think about it right now.
Okay, so my favorite animal is otters.
Okay. Right.
Like I love river otters. I think they're really cute.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be one.
You don't be one. They're just fun to be.
I want something maybe a little bit more masculine.
Yeah, right.
I feel like the dog thing is already like overplayed, so I don't want to be a dog.
Nah, you don't be dog. What a fox.
Whenever someone, that's also like
too dog-like.
Whenever someone brings up furries, the first thing you think of is people dressing up as like wolves and foxes. Right.
Yeah.
Like that's.
How about a pony?
Pony.
Now you're mixing fetishes at that point.
Yeah. Oh Jesus. The fucking overlap with the adult male My Little Pony fandom is terrifying.
Yeah.
It's scary. Those people just ain't right.
That's the thing. It's like I really try to not to judge what all things everyone's into.
Like what
I really try not
like
to.
what you like, sure.
But I just don't get so much. I just don't get it. That's my problem. I just don't get so many people.
When it becomes like, it's one of those things that I think certain people that are more socially reclusive pick up in lieu of having a personality.
Sure.
Opening on your dating profile by saying I'm a gamer.
Yeah, right.
Gamer is not a personality.
Right.
No, it's a hobby.
Right. That tells me things you like. It tells me nothing about what you're like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a whole world that is invisible to the.
I'm a brony. Also, no fat girls.
Oh, maybe like a bird thing. Maybe like a bird.
An owl? Maybe an owl.
An owl?
That'd be cool.
Or like a peregrine falcon.
No, I'm not a falcon. I'm an ostrich, if anything. Penguin, maybe. I think it might be penguin.
I think I might be a skunk.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. Okay, that's good. You'd be a skunk.
Yeah, I'd be a skunk
with the big stupid eyes.
Yeah, right. And like the giant tail, and also I just reek.
Yeah.
There's a divide in that community between mammalian, like furries with fur, and reptilian, like scaly. They call them scalies. Not everyone really cares, but there are people who do that want to, make the distinction of separating the two. It's very strange.
Would you be a meerkat?
Would I be a meerkat? No. I don't know the first thing about meerkats other
like a lemur,
other than Timon from The Lion King.
Right.
I see what you're going at for though.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something that's like cat-like but not quite about you.
A mongoose, maybe.
Mongoose.
Sure.
Ooh, I would give you mongoose.
Mongoose. All right.
Mongoose, skunk, and then we got to nail me down here.
Now I know.
Right.
Now I know what I'm spending my tax return
various
on.
birds, you could be an owl, but then you could also drift into like turkey.
You're not
Pheasant.
far off. Pheasant. Give me something like a turkey.
Pheasant. Oh yeah, things like turkeys.
A peacock.
A duck.
A duck.
A duck.
A goose.
A goose.
Goose.
A goose.
You could be a goose.
I could be a goose.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know, man.
I think duck. I feel like duck.
You think duck is
Yeah,
the
I
way to
think
go?
duck,
Like
yeah.
what kind of duck?
A duck that smokes a cigar and yells at people.
Howard the Duck.
Howard the duck.
Your persona is Howard the Duck.
I'm trying to picture that.
I'm cool with owl too. Honestly, owl works for you.
I'm trying to think of like
a barn owl?
a fat bird.
You're real fat. Well, penguin, but that's
Vulture.
The patu.
Vulture.
Maybe we might be onto something with vulture.
Vulture could work.
Vulture,
Buzzard,
maybe.
Buzzard.
I don't know. I don't know how sexually attractive furries find vultures.
I don't know.
Anything that preys on the dead. I really don't know.
I don't know. We'll figure. We'll get there.
Well, that's
we
the thing. That's the thing
got
too.
plenty of time to figure.
That
this
is
out.
also a thing.
Yeah.
Plenty of time to figure. This out.
Anyway,
So anyway, as I said earlier before we got sidetracked on this whole furry tangent, we are fucked.
Yes.
Dave, how are we fucked this time around?
come back to me.
Okay.
Come back to me because I worked real hard on thinking about this and I got nothing. I will,
Chris, why are we fucked?
I had to think about it too, but I think I'm going to go with the reason why I'm personally fucked this week. Is Gable's officially beating me again on Christmas is ruined this year, and I can't lose.
Is that what you were talking about in the D&D
Yeah,
chat?
yeah, he's up-
Christmas is ruined.
Yeah, he's up to 4 Christmases
I
ruined
thought you
at
guys
work.
were talking about like sales commissions or something that was tracked by the store.
No, this is a bet that we have amongst the employees at work every year.
This took me a second, but now I know exactly what you're talking about.
I've ruined 3 Christmases. Matt has officially, as far as I know, he's ruined 4. He might have ruined more in the meantime. So I have to up my game. The problem is he's in a department where he's more likely to ruin Christmases because he works in the computer section and like he kind of hops all over the place. I'm mostly in appliances, which is really hard to.
Can you tell the one person who's listening what that is?
So every year at I work at Best Buy. So every year, consistently in the month of December, when we're inevitably out of whatever a like really well-liked holiday gift is, people will get angry with the people who work there because they didn't do their shopping sooner.
Well, but the entertainment section has to get that most of all, right? Like
gaming. But honestly, you'd be surprised. TVs, we get it for computers. Headphones is a big one.
Computers, really?
Yeah, the earbuds they got a big shipment in today, but this is going to be the last one before Christmas.
Oh boy!
So I'm sure they're way
Lots
down.
more Christmas is about to be ruined.
Oh yeah, for sure. Usually I get them in the gaming section when we're out of a game or a console or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, Christmas is being ruined. I feel like tends. Tell me if I'm wrong. I'm guessing that's usually parents talking about the thing their kid wants.
Correct. Most of the time, implying I give a fuck about your kids.
Right. I don't care about your fucking kids.
I don't care about your fucking kids, right? Yeah, but we have a pretty loose scoring system of determining how we've ruined Christmases. But
Yeah.
basically, the consensus is, I think somebody has to get angry. They don't have to say
they don't have to say it verbatim.
They don't have to say you ruined my Christmas, although we do get that more often than you'd think.
And not like just disappointed, no,
they have to be angry with you.
Yeah, right? not just like, oh damn, I should have come sooner.
No, someone has to be mad at you.
Yeah.
Because there's something that's not there.
They have to be in the anger or bargaining stages of grief.
Correct. Correct. So far, I've got 3 of those so far.
Yeah.
Gable has 4, and I need at least 4. He might have more. I have to step it up. The over-under on me this year is 8.
Oh, really?
So I picked under. I think I'm going to end up with a solid 6, but I'd still like to beat Matt.
And I imagine you can't lie about what you don't have in stock.
Correct.
Right? Like you can't just like be sitting on a pile of like remote start kits and be like,
this is a gentleman's game of ruining holidays.
Right.
There are rules.
No need to lie. But the over under on me this year is 8. I like I said, I picked the under. I think I'm only gonna ruin like 6 Christmases. But I still would like. It would be nice to beat Matt by the end of the year.
Yeah.
He's my personal target because I see him most often.
You've got 1 week, and I think that the shopping intensifies, right? And especially like the panic intensifies as the holiday approaches.
Yeah.
I'd probably take over for you on that 8. I probably would.
Would you take the over?
I think I would.
Okay.
I know that's kind of a risky move, but
it is a risky
with just
move.
a week left. But I think that the incidences of panic.
It's hard. I had a weird year last year where I didn't ruin anybody's Christmas last year.
Well, that's a shame.
That was a shame. It was. I kind of felt bad because everybody else was like, all the Christmases I ruined. I didn't have one. I made it the entire year without ruining somebody's Christmas, and it. I was actually sad that I didn't. Somebody wasn't like mad at me because I did have something.
I can hardly abide it.
Remember last year when Hanukkah came like real early? Like it started like a little before Thanksgiving, I think.
I do not.
I actually do.
How
vaguely?
How great would it be to be a Jewish person and have like an early Hanukkah when like, you know, maybe in that sweet spot between Black Friday and you know the big heavy Christmas shopping season, where you don't really have to worry about it. All the Gentiles have gotten their big shopping out of the way. You can just go and freely kind of peruse the stock. It's got to be real easy to have like an early Hanukkah or maybe even a late Hanukkah.
Yeah, just to somehow offset it from that big cluster that is the Christmas shopping season.
Yeah, the Gentile rush. The Gentile deluge.
Yeah. The running of the Gentiles.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I'm kind of bummed, man. I haven't ruined nearly enough Christmases to get to beating Matt's status.
Give it time. We got like
I want to at least come close.
We got 2 weeks.
Yeah, we got some time yet. I think I can get there. I think I can do it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I'm fucked because I can never shop for people on Christmas. I can't do it.
You just don't know how to do it.
I don't know how to do it.
I'm that way too.
There are certain people who like instant. I mean, Aubrey's like the first one who comes to mind because I spend every day with her.
All of our ladies are better at holidays and shopping for other people.
Aubrey
is my guess. No, actually, Chris, I take it back. I'm pretty good. You're really good at it, Chris. I take it back.
Aubrey's 1,000 times better at shopping for Christmas than I will ever be.
Yeah.
Because she's so much more thoughtful than I am, and she is always eager to get it done. I dread Christmas shopping.
Yeah, me too.
I never want to do it, but like at the end of the day, it usually turns out fine. But
coffee.
Nope. Actually, that's my kegerator. Sorry, guys.
Oh.
It's changing temperature because I changed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
But I my problem is like my problem is mostly my parents because like what can I get them?
It's harder when you're an adult.
It's harder when you're an adult because like what can I get my folks that they don't they don't have but they would like. So like I did plenty of digging. I started going through listicles like here's the gift to get for someone who is hard to shop for or someone who has everything. And I found a pretty good one, which that I'm getting for Miss Tina and also for my mom, Miss Tina. If you're listening to this, mute this for like 10 seconds. There's like this heated shiatsu massage thing that goes on your upper back, and you just put it between your back and the chair.
Oh yeah, that's
and it's
great.
just got like, it's like motorized. It's got these like balls inside of a mesh.
Nice.
So I'm getting that for her and my mom. Okay, Miss Tina, if you can unmute this now.
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, no, it's not. Yeah. But I think I did that in under 10 seconds, so I think we're good.
Okay. Good.
But I know she occasionally Aubrey will have her listen to the podcast or whatever. But anyway, I'm very bad at picking out gifts for people. And it kind of stinks, and it makes me feel bad every year.
Don't feel bad.
I feel like on my part, it really is it's like a lack of imagination, or it's like a lack of ability to get into other people's head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, just, I don't know, like Christy is a gift ninja. She will remember something you say and file it away.
That's women, dude. That's just,
I think
they're just good at it.
In general, they are better.
I started keeping a list on my phone every time someone would mention something, so I could write it down. That makes it 1,000 times easier when you have to remember something from 4 months ago.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah. I need to keep a list on my phone of like people's clothing sizes and everything. So it's not like 2 weeks before Christmas and I'm like, hey, I was just wondering. Me and the guys are having a conversation. What size shirt you wear?
Settle a bet. What size shirt you wear? There's no casual way to do that.
Yeah, definitely not. It's I guess I'm just fucked because like I always let the holidays stress me out more than I need them to, especially because like I celebrate Christmas for some reason and I'm an atheist.
Yeah, right.
Well, everybody does. It's not
right. It's just I grew up doing it. It's a good time of year. It's a fun time of year. I'm inevitably happy at the end of it all.
Let's be real. Christmas isn't about Jesus in America.
No,
not really.
It was never about Jesus. It was a pagan holiday before it was ever it was about.
It's not about spirituality. It's about consumerism and capitalism.
Let's buy things.
Right. Exactly.
And throw things at each other.
You know what the original book title for Christmas Story was?
No.
Because it's based on a book, and the original title of that book was "In God We Trust, Everyone Else Pays Cash."
Yeah. Oh God, that makes sense.
Whoa, that's a really good name.
Yeah.
I wish that was the name.
Yeah, it's not as attractive or memorable of a name as Christmas Story, but it is a lot more biting.
Yeah, right.
It's I do like that name better.
Nice.
The working title for Das Kapital. Yeah, no, it's a weird thing that we do to each other this time of year. Like the thing that I hate the most, I think, is trying to give. Like when people are like, oh, okay, good example. My mother-in-law and her family are asking what they can get my wife, what else they can get my wife that's not, my wife. But you get looped into other people's Christmas buying shit. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
what would this person want? What, you know what I mean? And that's too much. That's where I draw the line. It's like, that's too much, man. That's too much stress.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, and this might be a shit thing to say, but if you've got someone on your shopping list that they don't have everything, like they should be easy to shop for, but you don't know what they'd want, that's a good sign to spend more time with them.
Yeah, yes. I think that's true.
Absolutely.
It's like
I run into this every year.
Yeah.
I have to buy gifts for members of my family even where I'm like, I should really know what you are interested in.
I don't spend as much time with my family as I should, and I'll admit that.
Yeah.
But like even when I do, and even knowing what's going on in their lives and everything, they're still fucking hard to shop for.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
My brother and his fiance are relatively easier to shop for. They're he never expects me to get him anything, and I don't expect him to get me. We have this kind of pact,
Sure. Yeah.
For the past few years, he's been like, "Hey, don't get me anything because I'm not getting you anything." I'm like, "Okay,
yeah, right, fair enough."
Easy enough.
Well, that's the thing. You told me the one year, I think the first year we did this show.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you and him just went out and had a beer. You had a Christmas beer.
Uh-huh.
That's fine.
That's
what it's about.
That's all I fucking need.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Did you guys ever see Christmas with the Cranks?
Yeah, no, I know of it though.
So
because of internet racist JonTron.
So Christmas with the Cranks is a shitty movie.
You don't say.
Come out and say it. Well, the reason why I hated it is because it paints the Cranks as the bad guys, like they're grumps who don't want to, be involved in the spirit of Christmas. The worst thing they do is they tell everyone they know, hey, we're just not going to do Christmas this year. Please don't get us any gifts. Because we're just not celebrating this year.
Yeah.
And they're made out to be the bad guys.
Right. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great.
Like, how dare they have the audacity to not celebrate a holiday?
Yeah, so what they decide to do is go on a little vacation instead.
Yeah.
And the community comes down on them, and somehow that's not portrayed as a bad thing. Like, fuck off.
Yeah, right.
I don't have to celebrate the fucking holiday if I don't fucking wanna.
Yeah, you don't have to do.
It's ridiculous.
You're grown. You don't have to do anything you don't want to. Let's be real.
Right.
There might be consequences to some of that stuff, but you don't have to do shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like, and again, I want to celebrate it because I always end up happy on the holidays.
Sure.
I like spending holiday time with my family, my various families, and it's just a good time. Yeah. But if I didn't have that to go to, I probably wouldn't. I don't really have a reason to celebrate Christmas outside of the fact that my family does.
Right. That's the entirety of the point. Yeah. I really do think for most of us, the entire point of Christmas is get together with people that matter to you that you don't see that often. Spend some time.
Sure.
Exchanging gifts as a gesture of sorry I haven't seen you so much. Here's something to placate you until Easter.
It's always so fucking busy. Is like I don't like the rigmarole of having to go 5 million different places.
I'll tell you what, the minute it starts, like where it's like oh shoot, in an hour I gotta be somewhere for a thing, I shut down.
Yeah, I don't
completely shut down. I melt into the couch. I don't want to do things. I make it clear vocally. I don't want to go do anything.
The holidays should not be more stressful than work.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Oh man. Ooh.
It's such a
kind of hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
I think if I ever have children, it'll be easier because I could just make everybody come to me. Like, I don't want to pack the kids up until they're older, at least. I don't want to pack the kids up. You guys just come over here.
Right.
Everybody come to my place.
I left some food on the stove for them. They'll be fine. I'm on my way.
You can also totally blame it on them, too. As well, they really deserve to have a Christmas at home.
Right.
Like I had as a kid. Really twist the guilt screws.
Right. So anyway, Dave, why are you fucked?
Well, okay, so it's not exactly feeling fucked, but it's the thing that I can't stop thinking about, which is that. So first of all, for how many times on this podcast have I heard you talk about the people that install appliances for Best Buy, ruining someone's home?
Yep.
Destroying some property, taking zero responsibility for it, and fucking off.
Yeah.
So why I'm fucked is, and I don't really feel that fucked about it, but I am going to install a dishwasher. I'm going to do it my goddamn self.
Right. Do it yourself.
My goddamn self.
That's why I almost got into a big argument with our district. He was district manager at the time. He's actually the territory manager now.
Yeah.
Territory manager.
Yeah, which is like
Davy Crockett or something.
Yes. He's a mountain. He's a mountain.
He came in with a raccoon hat.
Territory
smoking a hand-rolled cigarette.
He rolled into town on a train.
So
the manager came riding in one dark and cloudy day.
So
he
most
read the sales figures as he went along his way. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's really funny.
I hear there's a problem with these territories.
Most large retail big box stores are the insider term. Most big box stores, big box chains have managers broken down into
Whoa, you good?
Just lost my audio there for a second.
Jesus.
Yeah. Broken down into so like there's the store level, and then there would be district, which is one step above that, and that they cover all the stores within say, a 100-mile radius, right?
Yeah.
And then there would be market, which would be stores within all those subsects within like a 500-mile radius. And then there's territory, which is like the largest branch, which would be like there's 6 territories in the whole country.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Things like that.
So you're talking like several states across and up and down. Maybe.
Sure. So at the time, this guy was
to fulfill some quotas, partner.
This guy was market boss at the time, and I got it was the first year I went out to that trip.
Yeah.
And they said something specifically about providing service that you would recommend to your friends and family. And I couldn't resist. I said, what if we wouldn't recommend it to our friends and family?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, what do you mean? And I explained to him that the times that I had recommended are, installation services, which it's worth noting. If you go to any major retail store where there's delivery offered, any big corporation,
yeah, they don't do that.
As far as I know, every major retail big box corporation doesn't do their own service. They don't do their own deliveries like standard.
They contract out.
Yeah. Right? So
and on some level, why wouldn't they?
Right.
There's a ton of people.
So like Home Depot and Lowe's, this is not just a dig at like my job's hiring, like you know what I mean, like contracting practices. Everybody does it. Home Depot and Lowe's have the same teams that we do. So it's the same issue everywhere you go.
It's part of the reason that when I was looking at buying my dishwasher and I looked at Home Depot, I thought, well, why buy it from them?
You're gonna have the same.
I'm gonna have the same fucking problem.
Yes, exactly.
So I bought Best Buy out of allegiance to my friends,
right?
But I wouldn't have them install stuff.
No, I wouldn't either. And that's the thing is I had to explain like at that point I had 6 people who I was we either direct family or really close with have issues with their installation. 3 of those were property damage where they had to fight to get compensation from the insurance company. And the other ones were just fucked up deliveries, like where they couldn't get their stuff that they paid for installed correctly and functional. So it's like, it's really frustrating. Like, maybe not the best time to do it is call the dude out in front of like 300 people, but like that, it's a real.
They need to hear that shit.
Yeah,
whether they want to or not.
Right. Like, and I understand there's a certain level of control that even the people in the higher ups don't have because it's just how things are done. And I understand that it's more expensive to do things in house.
Right.
But I would pay more money if I had faith that something was going to be done correctly.
Yeah,
do you know
exactly.
what I mean? I'm one of, maybe other people aren't, but I'm one of those people who'd be willing to spend the money if, like, I know this now. If I go to a local place, that's going to be one of the things I ask. Do your people do this?
Yeah, right. Who's your crew? Who are you going to call?
Right.
I want to know that it's not these people.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really frustrating. Do it yourself. Dishwasher installation is a pain in the ass. It's not fun. But it's not hard. It's just work. It's just
work.
It
seems like a lot of steps.
Yeah,
it's a lot of steps. It's frustrating.
So here's what I understand my responsibilities will be. I have to run a dedicated Romex line from the junction box over, or for the circuit, the fuse box over to where it's going to be behind the sink.
Right. You have to have an outlet to plug it into in Ohio.
It's going to be a wall outlet with a GFCI that's about like a foot away on the other side of a wall partition.
Exactly. You have to install a 110 outlet, basically.
Yes.
You have to run power.
Okay.
110 15 amp breaker.
Within 6 feet of the breaker box on the dishwasher.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm going to have to run a 2-way, my water line's going to have to put 2-way shutoffs on so that one set goes up to the sink and one set goes over to the dishwasher supply.
Right.
Yeah, you need something with a valve that you can cut the water to. So
I'm going to have to run the tailpiece on the sink. I'm going to have to put a new tailpiece on that has an inlet on the side so the dishwasher drain water goes into the drain underneath the sink.
Yeah.
And then I've already started cutting out the cabinet hole, and I'm going to have to figure out something to do with the cabinetry, and that extra space that's still sitting there. All of that's it.
Yep.
I mean, as far as I can tell, that is all I have to do.
That's about right.
It's going to take me maybe a couple days.
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be the fastest at this. I've never done this before. I'm going to have to do things like drill holes to run wiring through and stuff like that all over this place. But Why wouldn't you want to do that? I don't know. I feel better doing it.
Is that a DIY job? That's not something like you'd have to call an electrician for or anything?
It's something that you could absolutely call an electrician for, and maybe you should if you're not confident in what you're going to do.
But your brother is.
My brother's he's done he wasn't properly a union electrician.
No, but he was like a handyman, like electrical work. Yeah.
He knows.
I'm I can talk to him. I've talked to some other guys that I know that have done this kind of work. Everyone basically has assured me that if you've shut off power to the whole box, and you don't
you're fine.
Touch the terminals at the top of it, you'll be just fine.
You'll be fine.
Okay. That should always excuse me. And I'm always nervous about jumping a battery.
Right.
Oh yeah, no.
Here's the other thing too is I'm going to buy a no-touch electrical tester where you can hold it just above the areas that you're playing around with and just see if there's current running.
It's a very wise thing to own. Yeah.
I like that idea.
Have you ever put a a wall outlet in?
I've replaced a wall outlet.
If you've done that, it's very similar. The only thing is you're running power from your main breaker to this area. So it's not
running that cable is the biggest difference.
Yeah, it's a big pain in the ass. Yeah, you have to. That's the hard part. You have to actually string the wiring up. But if you've ever put an outlet in or changed an outlet, it's very, very similar.
Right.
It's not, like I said, it's not difficult work per se. It's just a pain in the ass.
Sure.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not something you're gonna.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna be like, wow, cool.
Yeah, right. You might feel accomplished at the end of it, but the journey getting there is not. It's going to be frustrating, and you're not going to have a good time.
Yeah, but so I'm going to do things like buy electrical fish tape that you run down into the wall, and buy the outlet box itself and the outlet. Going to be a GFCI, so if it gets wet, it cuts off.
But think about how good you're going to feel when it's done.
Oh my God, when it's done, and put those dishes in there. You'll be sitting
there playing Halo with us with a brand new dishwasher in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And it's got bottle jets.
Yeah, dude.
So you can get those hard to clean glasses and it sprays up in the bottle.
I'm going to appliance nerd out on you. You picked a really good choice.
I think I did too.
It's like the last dishwashers that still have hard food disposal.
Yeah, so it's got that Piranha.
Ooh. The Piranha hard food disposal system. Yes. Oh man, I'm so happy because you understand now.
Yeah, that's half the reason I wanted it.
Yeah, it's like the last company that still does the hard food disposal. So like,
I didn't realize they stopped. What are they doing instead?
Millennials are killing hard food disposal.
It's a filter trap. So like the idea behind dishwashers is you're not supposed to wash your dishes or really even rinse them before they go into the dishwasher. You're supposed to scrape them off.
Yeah.
On the other dishwashers, you want to get as much of that scraped off into the garbage as possible. And then what happens is it runs through a filter basically because they have to meet efficiency guidelines.
Sure.
And they're down to about 10 gallons at this point of water per wash cycle.
Wow.
So they have to reuse that water a lot of the time.
I see.
So that water gets ran through a fine mesh filter and filtered out, and what you get is like a toxic, like a sludge buildup of food particles and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to clean that trap every once in a while.
Sure.
The disposal.
So it's just like a dryer.
Kind of, like a lint trap for the dryer.
Clean it out. You're good.
Exactly. Yeah. But like on a hard food disposal system, you have to clean that trap on most dishwashers every like 2 or 3 months. On a hard food disposal system, you don't really. There's still a trap, but you don't have to worry about that as much
because it's crunching shit up and
it's grinding all the
food through the drain.
So you also don't have to worry about having your plates as clean when they go in. If you have a dishwasher that can handle it from the cleaning aspect,
the whole noodle goes in. That noodle's going to get chopped.
It's going to get chopped up and ran through the disposal.
Someone's going to eat that noodle.
Probably an alligator.
Right.
Yes.
They also do the heated dry, which is something that like most things now are on condensation dry, which is it works just fine if you use a rinse aid. This is so fucking boring.
No, dude, no.
Yeah, this is real dad talk.
We are old, and I'm into this. I'm here for this.
Condensation dry, you need a rinse aid. You should be using a rinse aid anyway.
I'm gonna pee while this.
Go ahead. Sorry, you need a rinse aid anyway because it's like a Rain-X for your dishes. Everything goes down in sheets as opposed to beating up. Condensation dry is absolutely critically dependent on doing that.
Gotcha.
Because you need the water to not beat up. You need it to slide off in sheets, and then the condensation dry pulls the way it does is like vents air from the outside in, and it pulls the moisture from the dishes to the stainless steel tubs.
Okay.
You have a plastic tub, I think.
I do have a plastic tub in mine.
Right. So you have the heated dry on there, which is a fan-assisted heated dry, which will circulate. Actually does really well on plastics, which is a big thing.
Well, that's great because you know what? Half of the dishes that I'm washing all the time are plastics because they're something for Sundays and we have people over, and a lot of
plastics are notoriously hard to get dry on dishwashers.
Yeah, they are. Always.
So heat and dry helps a lot, and a fan assist really helps because it helps push some of that extra moisture out.
I cannot wait. I can't wait.
Don't use liquid. Use dishwasher pods, and then use a rinse aid.
That's what I use both.
Finish is the best.
Yeah. Is it the blue one with the little ball or whatever? Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Whoa!
Yeah, super! Wow! Woo! How exciting is that, everybody?
Man, sure love being the most interesting youthful podcast.
Oh man, dating ourselves here.
Remember when this was just all about our wieners?
What a fucking nerdy ass. That's a thing that only I am passionate about.
Yeah, but the thing is, no.
Yeah,
I am now
get
too.
It. Yeah.
It's a sign that this show is like 6 months from ending, tops.
So boring.
So boring. I'm sure that if Ben was in this room, he would give us the blessing to. Here he is to go to a break.
Oh, I sure will.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 dads time is
No, I wrote that down. 3 dads
is we're coming to a close with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. There might be people out there who want to look for
appliance enthusiasts.
Yeah.
Google the Piranha hard food dispenser.
Yep. The thing is, like, I remember I saw a news story years ago about people who collected old washing machines.
Yeah.
And they had a club, like it's a national club of people who collect old washing machines, like from the 40s and 50s.
Sure. Oh man,
like mechanical washers.
So at my office, right next door, there's that sign shop, and it's the guy's moving locations. So he had me and one of our training guys come down because this was like a 4-person job.
Okay.
There was this machine. He said it was there when he bought the place. And it's this big fucking mechanical, imagine like what a Cricut does now, but it was made in the 40s.
Yeah.
Like a CNC machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a big like cutter lathe type thing. I don't know. But it's all like fucking solid steel.
Yeah.
And so it took 4 of us to lift this fucking thing into a pickup truck bed.
That's fucking crazy.
And he was just like, I mean, I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to abandon it.
No, that's worth money. That's worth real money.
Yeah, that's what he said. Even if I can't use it anymore, it's probably worth something.
It's worth real money.
Only getting more valuable with time.
I can tell you, like my uncle was a machinist and a metal worker, and he liked to do woodworking as well, like as a hobby. He was a hobbyist woodworker, and he was very good at it. Actually, the computer desk that I have, it's a computer desk now. In my spare room, he built out of an old console television. Like he took the TV out and then modified it into a desk and built drawers for it.
That's awesome.
So so you can actually see on the back of the desk where it says tone, volume, station. It's really, really cool.
That is awesome.
But when he died, his daughter, because none of us fucking knew how to work it, she sold. He had steelworking, like metalworking equipment and woodworking equipment that he accumulated over the years as a hobbyist.
Yeah.
And she sold it for like somewhere around $80,000. Like I'm talking big money, big fucking money.
Yeah.
So it's like something like that's probably worth a lot. But it was like the people who collect the old washing machines. I get that shit now. I get accumulating old pieces of tech like that.
Yeah.
That are, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, what a fucking bunch of weirdos. I've made fun of them, but like, when you learn about this stuff, it's kind of fucking, it's cool, man.
There's a reason that people get into stuff like this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's something deep inside that,
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. It's something cool about learning about how stuff works and why something is better than another thing. So,
gosh, I can't wait till someday when I can sell my Piranha hard food dispenser for $80,000 or $90,000.
Right. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, bud. I think it's going to last you 8 years.
Yeah, right. No,
and nothing's
like
have to
that
buy
anymore.
another one. Yep. Yeah, unfortunately.
So anyway, we're gonna take a quick break here.
Sure.
And we're gonna come back with I have to apologize because with the holiday season and I've just been busy at work and I've also been sick for a while.
Yeah.
I don't have an original reality or bullshit. I have one that I stole.
Okay.
Oh.
So
interesting. Okay.
It might be one you guys have seen before. It might not be. It might be easy. Might be hard for you. I don't know.
That's all right.
But we're gonna find out. It's something I randomly remembered on Sunday that existed, and I looked it up again. So we'll come back to that, and we will come back to that.
All right. Be back in a minute. Stick around.
Or don't. Whatever.
I don't give a fuck.
Who cares?
Eat ass.
Welcome to the Three Dude Podcast. Hey. Yeah.
You can find us at 3dudecast.com.
If you're wondering whether that's spelled with the numeral 3 or the word 3, the answer is yes.
We're so proud of ourselves.
We're so clever. We're such clever boys.
Wow. We've switched hosting to Podbean. You can still find us on iTunes and Google Play. So give us a like.
Yeah, give us a like. Give us a listen. Give us a review somewhere.
Give us a sandwich.
Give us a high five.
Give us sponsorships.
Please give us a hug.
Give us that money.
Issues.
Yeah.
Which is very true. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like if that was the angle they were going for, they could have done it a little better if that was foreshadowing to what ended up happening to Daenerys.
I'm not sure what they were trying to do with, I don't know.
They might have been winging it.
Just, yeah, Joffrey's evilness is just evilness for evilness' sake at some point, it feels like.
And I think when you look back on something like Breaking Bad and you look at all of the turns that the series takes and you look back on it as a whole and think like, wow, this, it's so deliberate and so constructed, and so much of it wasn't.
Yeah.
They sometimes shows have to wing it, and they get real lucky, and
luck is an actual part of TV making.
Yeah. For sure.
Sometimes you get handed circumstances that inspire you to do something great.
And part of Breaking Bad's greatness, I think, in certain points, comes down to luck.
Yeah, right. I agree with that.
And some of Game of Thrones pratfalls also come down to luck. They winged it, and it just didn't work in some spots.
I'm only just now. It took me a very long time, but I'm only just now coming to grips with the fact that like the last 2 seasons really went way downhill, and I didn't want to think that of that show.
You were the one who really held out on that
for a long time. Yeah. It's not good, man. It wasn't that good. Which is really sad because it was.
It also wasn't terrible.
No, it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible, but it just. You can see when the guys started writing it themselves.
Yes, you could. Yeah, you absolutely could. You could tell they took the turn from a story of like political intrigue and interpersonal drama to a cool show where we have dragons.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I've seen worse from better shows.
Yes, Big Love comes to mind, which I talked about.
Star Trek: The Next Generation comes to mind. I've seen worse episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation, which is objectively a better show than Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I've seen
you're right.
Some goddamn awful episodes of Next Generation.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
The thing for me that's like the big tell with great Game of Thrones is like the fact that Tyrion doesn't seem to make a correct decision for like a season and a half.
Yeah.
And it's a dramatic departure from what we really like about his character, isn't it? Like we love that Tyrion works his way out of things. Yeah, he's so clever.
He works his way out of things, but he also sees a step ahead.
Yes,
which is what you like in a game that is essentially or in a show that is essentially compared to a chess game.
Yeah,
where everyone's kind of making moves and making sacrifices.
If the Game of Thrones is in fact a game, Tyrion is a very good player.
Tyrion's the one who sees a step ahead. Tyrion's the one who does the thing no one expects, and then
the thing is they switched from chess to Candyland, like in particular in the last 6 episodes, where it's just this quick cutting thing where they got right to the end, which I maintain would have been a good ending had they given it time to breathe. Yes. If you had 10 episodes in the previous season and 10 episodes in the final season, and you justified all that stuff that you hammered out, it would have made a lot more sense, and people would have been okay with it.
I maintain that the weakest part of the final season is that they relied too much on surprises. They relied too much on throwing shit at you that you don't expect.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Compare that to the finale of Breaking Bad, where like what's going to happen to Walt.
Yeah.
You might not know.
Christy doesn't listen to this, does she?
Well, I don't know if she will. We can tell her not to listen to this one.
Okay.
We'll just tell her not to listen to this.
Okay. Because I was going to say I was going to talk about it. But
spoilers for Breaking Bad.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm not.
I'm so fucking sorry.
No, let's do it. I mean, let's get into it.
It's you don't know how he gets there, but you know where he's going.
You know where this story is going.
You know where it's going to end. Yeah. You don't know all the steps to get there.
And that's actually why it's satisfying.
And that's respectful. It trusts the audience to enjoy an ending they might already have deduced.
Yeah. Right.
Game of Thrones doesn't do that in its final season. It throws curveballs at you the entire way.
Yeah.
I feel like it's okay to be surprised by something better than what you expect.
Right. But then like how Game of Thrones ends with like, what better king than
Yeah, right.
Right.
Like literally anyone.
Like
yeah, right.
all of the main players.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I really liked when the Night King scene.
Yeah.
At the time, I really liked that.
Sure,
but the more I thought about it, it's like, okay,
why is Jon Snow here?
Jon Snow's over here. He's like fucking around and not, having a hand in this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's fucking...
I also figured out why we had such mixed feelings on the excuse me, the scene with Arya taking her fucking clothes off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know why that made me uncomfortable.
Why is that?
Because she's been a child for so long on this show.
It's like watching your daughter get naked.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
We've watched her grow up. We've watched her, become the person that she is.
It doesn't matter that she's an adult. It doesn't matter.
No.
It's uncomfortable because she's our kid sister or something,
right.
Yeah, we she got a sword and she named it Needle because of the sewing, and it's like
it doesn't seem that long ago that was a 13-year-old kid.
Right. It's like watching your daughter lose her virginity. It's weird.
It's weird.
It's really weird.
Odd.
Yeah.
And unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like very wholly unnecessary.
Yeah, I think that was some executive shit. I think that was HBO being like, Maisie Williams is 21. We got to see her boobs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we don't have to take her shirt off. Yeah.
No, well, think about the curveballs that Breaking Bad threw you.
Okay.
The curveballs that Breaking Bad threw you.
This episode's going to go so long.
I know, sorry. It's okay. Whatever. It's our season finale.
Oh, we're recording.
Yeah. Fuck it. I figured we had to start.
Once again, we're talking about television.
Yeah.
I thought we were because you mentioned Christie, and I was like, maybe he's just joking. But then I look over and see it's in red.
Yeah. No, yeah, I had to because we can't miss this.
This is a good conversation.
So think about the curveballs Breaking Bad tossed you.
Sure.
When they threw you curveballs, they were aside from the main, like the main. It didn't affect the main conclusion of the overall series, correct?
Okay.
Right.
Like directly.
I'd like to think of an example.
It was part of a whole of how the train wreck happened.
Okay.
You're watching individual pieces of this train wreck.
Yeah.
So things like the train episode. And in particular, the first 5 minutes of the episode that followed that, which I think were some of the most brilliant pieces of television making ever.
Yeah. Really depressing.
Really depressing.
Christy might be here.
Yeah.
We might.
We'll
need to cut off the Breaking
or
Bad
like
discussion.
like the run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
How fucking wild was that the first time you saw it? Or the crawl space thing, the
crawl space scene. Oh my god,
yeah.
Chilling, bone chilling. So anyway,
let's
get back on track.
So anyway, like I said before, I have a hey, welcome back to Three Dudes Show.
Hey.
Welcome back to Three Dudes Talk About Television
again
ad nauseum. I've been busy with holiday stuff. I've been busy with work. So I haven't had the time, unfortunately, to come up with an original reality or bullshit.
You rat bastard.
Well, I fault you for this heavily, but all right.
And also, I'm going to be coming up with a new game for the next season because, unfortunately, I feel like reality or bullshit is too close to the game of our sister program, Goose Chase. I feel like
Trues and Snooze.
I feel like it's too similar to Trues and Snooze.
No, it's
too
not.
similar. It's too similar.
It's time for Trues and Snooze.
The true or false games are a billion.
You mean to tell me?
Well, sure, but it's different when you're talking about two. Consider our friend group a production company.
Okay. Let's.
Yeah. What would we call this? Friend group productions.
Tax-free productions, because we're not actually a business. Please don't tax us.
Yeah, you'd have to make money to be a business, and all we do is spend it.
Right.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
So anyway, No, so I'm going to be coming up with a game for the next season. But anyway, the point is, I didn't have time to do a reality or bullshit.
That's all right.
So this might be the end of that particular game's run. So I'm stealing one from another website. This is from medium.com.
Yay.
This was something that came out several years ago during the most recent presidential elections.
Oh my God.
And it is a litmus test. It is a quiz where I will read you some quotes.
I know this.
You have to
I remember this happening. I don't know the answers to them all, but I remember this happening.
These are quotes, and you have to decide whether they were said by Donald Trump or Frank Reynolds from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, God.
I remember this.
So to start, we won't do all of these. There's like 30 of these.
Yeah, right.
So I'll pick probably most challenging ones. There's nothing more threatening to a man than a woman who's smart and attractive.
Okay, here's the thing.
Did Frank or Donald say that?
So I know Frank said something similar, but I don't know if Frank said exactly that. But I'm going Frank on that one.
I'm going Trump.
It was Frank Reynolds.
Okay.
Even the fact that this can be confusing is the whole point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You couldn't get Obama mixed up with Frank fucking Reynolds.
Yeah.
Right. Next up, all the women flirted with me, consciously or unconsciously. That's to be expected.
I'm going Trump.
I got to go Trump, I think.
Yeah,
That was Donald Trump.
Yeah. Oh. These all sound like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
they will.
Donald
They
Trump.
will.
All right. Next up,
Downey.
when was the last time you saw a Chevrolet in Tokyo?
When was the last time
And
you
I was
saw?
talking about this.
I was in Japan, and I thought, why is there a Chevrolet?
I'm gonna go Trump.
I'm going Frank.
It was Donald Trump.
Oh my God.
Our own very stable genius president.
Let's see. How about? Oh, here's a tough one. The point is that you can't be too greedy.
Oh my God. Oh.
There's no way Trump said that. Frank.
No, Trump.
Frank.
Trump.
It was Donald Trump.
How could that man ever have said you can't be too greedy?
How about this one? It's all about image and marketing. There are no bands out there with any musical ability.
I know this one. I'll let you go first.
Frank.
Frank.
It was Frank.
That was the chemical toilet episode where or the pecan sandies or all the different bands they made. The pecan, it's got like another meaning.
How about this? If life pushes you down, you've got to push back.
Winston Churchill.
Trump.
Frank.
It was Frank.
This is fun. I remember this being a thing.
I can't remember ever a time when Donald Trump said something inspiring. So
Yeah, right. If it's inspiring, then it can't be him.
How about this? Did you notice that baby was crying and I didn't get angry? Not once. Did you notice that? That baby was driving me crazy.
that's definitely Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, 100%.
That's Donald Trump.
Did you notice that?
Did you notice that that baby was crying?
Can you imagine patting yourself on the back for not yelling at a baby?
And then yelling about a baby.
Yeah, and then like suddenly backdoor complaining about a baby.
Did you notice that that baby was crying and I didn't have my guns taken out back and shoot it in the face?
And I was so pissed, and I wanted to strangle it, but I didn't do it.
But I didn't do it because I'm on camera.
I didn't do it.
I'm on camera. But I had my guys take him out back and strangle him.
How about this one? The only kind of people I want counting my money are the little short guys that wear yarmulkes every day.
Oh my God.
This is the hardest one
This is
yet.
the hardest one. I really want that to be Frank, but I think that's Donald Trump.
I don't. Yeah, I feel like it might be too. I'm going Trump on it.
I really want that to be Frank, but I think it's Trump.
I think it might be.
It's Donald Trump.
There's the guys who wear little
little
yarmulkes.
guys, the little
Little short guys that
And
wear
I love
yarmulkes every
I
day.
love the Jews, and everybody knows
And
this.
no one is talking about how much I love the Jews.
Okay,
So good at Jewish people. I'm so good at Jewish people.
and last one. That's the bad Korea.
That's the bad Korea?
Oh, shit, dude.
I can't imagine Trump actually referring to North Korea as the bad Korea. So I'm thinking it's Frank. Trump seems to really love North Korea.
But I'm talking about, think about before his presidency.
Here's what's swaying me on this. They did an episode about the North Koreans. And I think it's Frank.
I'm going to say Trump. I'm going to go against you.
All right.
It was Frank.
Okay.
That's the bad Korea.
Trump loves North Korea way too much.
Yeah.
I love North Korea.
Again, that was credit to Medium.com. Actually, let me find the author of that.
I think I'm going to reevaluate my game again. That game that no one likes.
That was from James.
Oh, you mean smoking and drinking?
That was from Jameson Herman from a Medium.com article published on July of 2015. So thank you for that. Thank you for doing my work for me.
Thank you, Jameson.
I will take it all. And
shouting back to a past in which it seemed that this would never happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
God, this is
so I'm glad I've got your Irish up here because if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, what are you doing? Leave me alone.
That's how all Irish people sound, don't you know?
Oh, get your hands off me.
Oh, I'm going to beat Floyd Mayweather. So anday,
Conor McGregor.
He's the tiniest little fighter, but he can do so much.
It's me, Conor McGregor. Here's a shot of $50,000 whiskey.
So anyway, the God damn it.
That's how all Irish people sound.
All of them.
Every single one of us. That's how we talk when we're not being recorded. All of you people. It's me, Conor McDavid.
Reminds me of that fucking when they're in the IT crowd when they're going to the theater to see Gay the musical.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And one of the actors comes up to Roy. And he's like, "I love the Irish. You're all mad." Yes. We're all insane.
We are. We're all crazy. Every one of us.
Really funny.
So anyway, today's topic. I'm glad I've stoked the fires with your towards
our sitting president,
White House occupant.
Right.
The orange person who sits in the Oval Office for some reason.
The thing in the wing.
Yeah,
That's good.
The thing on the wing.
The thing.
There's something
Thing
in the wing. How's that not come up yet? That's a good one.
Yeah, that is
a really good one.
Yeah, I'm glad we thought of it. I'm sure we're not the first people.
Yeah, but anyway, start that so that could be the name of the episode.
We've done episodes about a lot of different emotions. We've done episodes about comedy. We've done episodes about sadness, crying, fear.
Yeah.
We haven't done an episode about anger.
That's amazing to me.
Man, that's
as soon as you started saying that, I'm like, we've never done an episode about anger.
We've never done an episode about anger, and it occurred to me because we were watching other people get angry at video games.
Yeah,
the other
and
night.
enjoying it thoroughly.
Thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah.
People absolutely destroying their fucking keyboards because a teammate wouldn't do what they said, or because they lost it in a straight 1v1 fight where they lost clean and fair.
Yeah. I think there's a low undercurrent of anger on our show in general.
For sure. That's why we have Why We're Fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
But I think it's great to focus specifically on anger because I think there's kinds of anger. Maybe
there's at least I think there's an inherent pessimism on the show, except for Ben.
Cynicism, maybe.
Cynicism. That's the word for it.
Someone's got to be optimistic.
Yes.
I mean,
you have to buoy the spirits.
Two pessimists.
Churchill said, "I'm an optimist because it doesn't make sense to be anything else."
Lincoln said, "If you are a racist, I will attack you with the North."
And Paula Deen said, "Oh, I didn't know it was being thrown," after she got hit in the head with a hand. That's true story. Paula Dean, someone threw a ham at Paula Dean's head.
That video does not get old.
I didn't know it was being thrown.
So I think we've had the story before, right, on the show about the interception in your NCAA game.
Yes, yeah, we talked about it on the crying episode. I had a nervous breakdown.
Yeah. So in addition to our own anger, and we have plenty of anger, we're 30 somethings that are kind of getting by. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we have plenty of reason to be angry. Mm-hmm. But as always with these kinds of topics, I want to kind of look at it from all angles, like the nature of anger or other people's anger that you maybe sympathize with or is amusing to you, possibly.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I feel like
what's the dumbest thing you've ever seen anyone get angry about, for instance?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a super good question. I'm trying to think.
I'm regularly entertained, and I'm going to just throw him under the bus here because I don't think he's going to listen to this.
Okay.
I'm regularly entertained by my dad, doing something incorrectly or doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Because he's got a very old guy sensibility about it.
Okay.
He went to hand me his...
Where is this going?
I had to help him jump his car because he very rarely drives anywhere anymore. Like, we go out on Tuesdays and I usually pick him up.
Yeah.
And he's retired, so he gets to enjoy sitting on the couch and watching movies all day and doing stuff around the house. And he doesn't.
If not when you're retired, then when?
He leaves maybe once a week. He'll go out, But I had to jump his car battery because he hadn't left in a while, and the car was just sitting out there.
Yeah.
He went to hand me. I pulled my jumper cables out of the car earlier.
Yeah.
And he was going to go in and grab something real quick, and I was going to get started on jumping his car. And he went to hand me his car keys, and he's like, I'm sorry. This is so funny to me. He's like, here's my car keys. And he pulled out his reading glasses.
That's kind of funny.
There was a second where he realized, I went to reach for him and I pulled my hand away. And there was a second where he didn't realize why I didn't take them. And he's like, oh, son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
He's just went to get his car keys back. It's just so funny to me. I don't know why
that is really funny.
It just cracked me up. It's
it's going to happen to all of us. Shit. I mean, it probably happens to me twice a week and I forget about it.
It's already happening to me.
It's just so, I don't know why it cracks me up. It's just really
it's like if you saw someone talking into a banana.
Yeah,
it's like that kind of that's not right.
Right.
That moment
what the hell?
That's incorrect.
No, it's just so funny. Man. So it's funny to see him. He's he's retired, so he gets to take his time doing things.
Yeah,
and he's very slow and methodical about how he does stuff because he doesn't have to hurry anymore. He's retired, and that's what retirement's for. Is enjoying your life and taking your time. But it's just really funny when he takes his time and do it something stupid that anybody would do, forgetting to leave, leaving your wallet at home, or you know what I mean, things like that.
God, I am forever
something
doing
I fucking
that.
do all the time, which is infuriating.
Yeah, you left your wallet here 2 days ago.
Right? Yeah, I did. And then
and by the way, then you picked up your wallet and you left all the other stuff.
Yes, I grabbed my gifts that Aubrey bought me, and I grabbed my wallet and my pocket knife,
right?
And I left Trisha's iron. I left our iron and Trisha's gifts, which were right there.
Everything was
right there. Your girlfriend texted me. She's like, "Dude, you left."
No, yeah, she said it to me too. She's like, "I thought he would have recognized his own iron."
Nope. No, left all that shit there. Bless you.
Shush. Oh my God, shut up.
Yeah, I left all that shit. The thing is, I had to take something to Alterations Express, right after that.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Were you telling a story?
Wow,
yeah,
this
no,
show
it's
just
good.
stopped being listenable right there.
No, I went to. I had to go to Alterations Express right after that, and the thing is, by the time I got her message, I was on the road. I was almost at Alterations Express, and I saw that, and it was like, "Hey, dude, you left your iron here," and I went, "Ah!" I was just in the car. I was like, "Damn it!" I was so frustrated.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I do that shit all the time. I'm forever leaving my wallet at home, or
me too.
Just fucking really annoying stuff.
I want to tell
you.
Shush. I want to tell you briefly about. So there's a guy I work with. He's like a temporary dude, right? And he's like an older guy, and he does like work in finance where he like enters basically like stuff into the system or resolves billing things or stuff like that. And one of the things I love about this guy is that he is always constantly under his breath, just muttering all day long.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which is annoying at sometimes and hilarious at other times.
I identify with that so much.
Right. Because the thing is, even now, like, I feel like relatively capable or competent, but like I know that like in like no time at all, stuff's going to start to outpace me where I'm like, everything pisses me off. I don't understand this. So this is this dude, like, every day at work where it's like, he'll make a phone call to someone and be like, hi, I'm calling about a billing, whatever, and then hang up the phone and then, like, under his breath, but, like, loud enough everyone can hear him go, gosh, nobody answers the phone anymore. Nobody answers the phone anymore.
Right? Man gets angry, it shakes fist at cloud. Yeah.
It's that, but it's, like, all day. Or it'll be just, like, these deep sighs, like...
Yeah.
Something about him amuses the hell out of me. It's just all day long like that.
You identify with the old curmudgeonly.
Yes.
This guy's what, 60 something years old?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah. I can see him. Yeah. It's
just nobody answers. What were we doing anyway? I don't know.
I was trying to get the goddamn coffee maker to work, and I identify with that a lot.
Yeah.
Fucking my buddies in Da Nang didn't drive for less.
So it's like, woo, dial that back a bit. Woo.
So the psychological explanation for human anger. I want to run this by you guys.
Okay.
Normally, you think of any old animal. Mm-hmm. They get angry because you're encroaching on their territory, or because they think you're a threat to their babies, or because you're taking an aggressive posture and you want to get by them for some reason. They think, oh, okay, let's fucking fight. Mm-hmm. So anger is, it's an evolutionary, it's ingrained into
it's a response to like threat on some level.
Yeah. So what is the threat response for if you die multiple times to a Dark Souls boss? The answer, according to psychology, is that
sorry, doctors hate him.
Is because we are arguably, ostensibly, the most socially developed animals on the planet. And something like a threat to our ego is enough to trigger that survival response of self-defense and anger.
Interesting.
So a personal insult on a big enough scale, something that might demonstrate to us that we're not as good as we think we are at something that might threaten our social position is enough to activate the same place in our brains that a threat to our earthly survival might be.
So as a sufficiently developed animal that knows that even something that doesn't directly have to do with like, status or reproduction or things like that, they all factor in. Like we know that the mistakes we make and whatever would be considered embarrassment has an actual impact on our social standing.
A sufficiently advanced animal like us has much more depth to them. So what other animals would consider a deep threat that merits anger is on our level pretty shallow. You know what I'm saying? Like the same distance that would have to be traveled for an animal to consider a thing a threat. We have so much more. We because our pyramid of needs, our hierarchy of needs is so much taller.
Okay,
but our anger response activates at about the same point down, where we feel like it's a threat.
Yeah.
If something threatens our social acceptance, it's a threat, and we get angry. If something threatens our self-worth, it's a threat, and
which is why I think
we can become angry about it.
We get so mad at video games, everybody at this table, I think.
Well, shit, all this stuff is like the things that like start to make your life hell in like middle school.
Yes.
And not elementary school, but suddenly in middle school.
Well, nowhere is that more apparent than in the jungle that is, like
an American public
early
school
childhood.
system.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Public school system.
In elementary school, you seek approval from your parents and your teachers.
Yeah.
In middle school, suddenly, that's when your brain starts to develop enough to where you seek approval from your peers.
Right.
And
Which is a healthy response, actually.
Yeah, right.
We're
absolutely.
social animals. It has to happen.
Yeah.
It's natural for it to happen.
It drives parents and teachers crazy, but someday it's not authority figures that you will need to impress.
Right, exactly.
It is your peers.
It's the people that will one day become the authority figures.
Sure.
It's the people that, as social structures form and you begin to understand them, it's the people that, the popular kids, the straight edgers, in other words, the kids who develop drinking problems in college.
Yes.
I feel personally attacked.
Yeah, but it's relatable.
Glug glug.
Yeah.
It's the development of social recognizance. As you get less reliant on your parents, you become more. You have to be reliant on something, and not everyone is reliant on something. There are people who live out in the woods and are perfectly happy.
Yeah, right.
But it's that idea that because we're social animals, we have a larger hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
It doesn't take as much for us to become threatened because social structure is so important to our survival.
Sure.
That makes me feel a lot better about wigging out like an animal.
Allow me to go deeper here. I brought up we were talking about the American Dream earlier.
Dusty Roads?
The American Dream. Dusty Roads, my son Dustin, fruit of my loins, if you will. I won't. No.
Feel it down on my plums.
My plums. We were talking about the American Dream earlier. That's part of the reason that the American Dream, as it was presented to us in the 40s and the 50s, would people finally realize that was a lie, is because, the entire schooling system up to that point had been continue to impress those authority figures,
right?
The parent, you know what I mean,
right?
And then once you hit this point in the 50s, is where it really, I think, started.
Which explains the 60s and 70s.
Correct. Exactly.
Anger.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. You hit this point where it's like, no, we're social animals, and the hierarchy is to be accepted socially.
Yeah.
So you see that big change come through. And now in the age we're at, it's just a matter of trying to process all of that. Mm-hmm. We got through all that anger, denial. And maybe this is the acceptance stage, or maybe we're still in the anger stage. I don't know.
Maybe we haven't worked through all this anger. There's been a lot of developments from the 60s to now. Gosh. A lot has fucking changed in 50 years, more so than I think any 50-year period in history.
Sure. And people like to go, oh, okay, boomer, and there's a lot of you got to go, okay. You got to give it to at least some sects of that generation, because they did get. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done in order to achieve that kind of utopia, but they did accomplish a pretty decent amount.
I don't know, what? I don't know, my thing.
Well,
my thing with the boomers is I do very much think that all the forward momentum that had been built in a post-war, economic boom was squandered there.
I agree with that.
And we reached to neutral or zero, progress.
But we're talking about socially. Socially speaking, you see a lot of advances, at least in terms of civil rights.
Mm-hmm. Sure, okay.
You know what I mean? The core, the hot, the stuff that they talk about on debate stages, the core civil rights. Black people are now, at least in most circles, considered human beings.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Right. So
let's put that in the yes column.
Women's lib, women's lib was huge. So you're seeing what would have been excluded parts of society start to come forward. And look, man,
the world is objectively better now than it was back then.
Sure.
Objectively.
Take 1955. There's parts that are worse than they were, a lot worse than they were in 1955.
Yeah.
But socially speaking, you can't say that things aren't better now.
Well, that's the thing is
they are better now. They certainly are better now.
It would be pretty ignorant to say otherwise. The only if you measure things strictly by how far a dollar goes, then sure, we're in a real pickle.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just different problems. They're just different problems.
Different problems, sure.
Yeah, that's just like one very narrow way to look at the world we're living in.
Yeah, but like even you know, even some of the lower, like the more lower class families in America still at least have access to a television and network television, internet,
information.
A phone that can access the internet. That's not to say it's great making less than $20,000 or $15,000 a year.
Right.
It's terrible.
Right.
Yeah, right. It is. It's not. It's not good.
It's objectively bad.
But then the
it's
flip
better,
side of this,
it's better than it would be making the equivalent amount of money in 1955.
How much stuff you don't need to spend money on because you have the internet?
Yeah.
It's a thing you don't even think about now.
Or public libraries. Yeah. In spite of everything, we still have public libraries.
Sure. Yeah, right. Sure. For now.
For
now.
While
they still exist, yeah.
Basically until Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell get together and decide it's not worth taxpayer dollars. We have it for now.
Yeah.
So, a book never did me any good. I read The Great Gatsby. I didn't get it. Books are worthless.
Gotta be honest with you. I didn't fucking get The Great Gatsby. I hate The Great Gatsby.
I didn't read The Great Gatsby.
I didn't care. I got it. I didn't care for it.
I just don't care for it.
Yeah.
I got it. I didn't care for it.
I didn't read it, so I can't even weigh in.
I've put off reading 1984 for a long time for a very similar reason, because every fucking wannabe anarcho-socialist out there has read 1984, gotten into this fucking Illuminati, Big Brother, like, and obviously the government would love to keep as tabs on you as much as they possibly can.
Yeah.
We're not in 1984. Like, get fucking real.
No, here's the thing. Orwell is an incredibly important writer on like issues of things like the power of the state over people.
Sure, but he had a real hate boner for socialism in a way that gets kind of irritating.
Yes.
I have read Animal Farm. And by the end of it, I was just irritated, like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, right. After being browbeat with this message for, a couple hundred pages or whatever.
Yeah, and it was easy for me to say that in 2005.
Yeah.
When the USSR had come and gone. Mm-hmm. But, I get it. It's just like, he irritates me.
I sort of feel like Orwell has also been co-opted by a lot of people that were entirely unlike him,
Yeah.
Like, you could take
How about that Apple commercial, where the woman runs in that
right.
sexy tracksuit and throws a sledgehammer?
Yeah, right. To destroy Big Brother once and for all.
Yeah. So what's the you ever witnessed any public anger that made you just like
it's my
laugh
favorite
at the
thing.
person?
Oh, dude, I work at Best Buy all the time.
Oh, do you remember when we were at trivia that one night? And that drunk guy kept shouting out the answers, and Winfield like fucking owned him.
Yes.
So we're at bar trivia at the old Lemon Grove. Can
I drink one of these?
Absolutely, you can.
Really like feeling a Christmas ale right now.
Yeah, please do. They're probably a little warm, but they might honestly be better that way.
That's all right.
Yeah, Christmas ale I think might be better
Got
warm.
my keys.
Thank you, my dude.
Yeah,
it is Christmas, my dudes.
it is.
It is Christmas, my dudes.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the old Lemon Grove. There's this drunk guy. Fucking every time Winfield asks a question, you're supposed to write down the answer, and there's this drunk asshole shouting out the answers, or what he thinks is the correct answers. He might have gotten one or more wrong, and Winfield just had it. He calls the guy up like calm as can be.
Yeah.
And this is what I love is when people who know how to handle people get really mad and they go into this like deadly calm mode.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
And the thing about, if the people listening don't know our buddy Winfield. Winfield is not a stupid person. He's very smart.
He is incredibly smart.
Very, very well read, very intelligent, and can he's one of those people who can explain themselves really well, which is a really rare trait, I think, now. now. Under pressure, he's very capable of articulating what he needs to get across.
I think that's a very good indicator of a smart person too, is how well they can explain a concept to someone who has no experience.
Yes.
Yeah,
Winfield's very good at that. So he calls this guy up in front of the stage, has him sit down in a chair in front of the stage, and reads him some fucking impossible trivia questions. And when the guy can't answer, he starts like coming down on him harder and harder. And then eventually tells him to get the fuck out. Because don't ruin trivia night. Don't be a dickhead.
Trivia night is like, for a lot of people, maybe the one good thing they get to do every week.
We had so much fun when we did, you know.
Oh yeah.
I remember one of the questions, he asked a question about like Chinese ship captains in World War II, or it's something, or like Japanese ship captains in World War II, something like really, really obscure.
Yeah.
And he goes, the guy answered like, and he goes, that's incorrect. It was actually so. Yeah,
It just comes down right. You give him a second.
Yeah,
that's incorrect.
It was like, you know, Winfield's up on the stage and this dude is sitting there in a chair. It's like watching God judge some puny mortal for You know, it was so good. And then by the end of it, everyone else was chanting like, get out.
Right. Yeah. And he so fuck you guys. I remember he left and he got a standing ovation when he left the bar.
Yeah. Like vicarious anger is so good because like it's the same sensation you get when, you know, you're watching like a real righteous beatdown on YouTube or something, you know.
Speaking of
street
YouTube,
fights.
YouTube. Okay, there's a channel that I love. I've watched this with you guys, I'm sure. It's called Road Rage in America.
Yeah, we watched a couple videos.
You want to talk about some anger? It's one of my favorite. I don't know why. Because the thing is, I kind of think most of the time, like my normal life, I'm waiting for something to happen.
Yes.
Don't
you just like?
Yeah, and when you get that feeling something's happening, you're like, oh shit, something's happening.
I try to ignore that feeling, but it's like you exercise that part of your brain so you can be prepared when it does happen.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's like emergency preparedness.
You can stick up for yourself. You can evaluate. You know, is this person going to do anything violent? If not, you know, can I, get a little, argumentative with them.
Exactly.
It's just to watch this stuff. To watch this stuff when things actually happen is so satisfying.
Right. I think it very rarely happens in the common person's life.
Yeah.
I like to think so.
Yeah, I don't think it's as common as like mass media would have you think.
No, I can count the number of times on one hand that I've been in a very like an intense argument, a vitriolic argument with someone after high school.
Yeah, right.
You know, obviously when you're 18 and under, you're willing to kind of, puff out your chest a little bit and get into fights because nothing will really happen to you.
Mostly we get it's like
mostly after high school, except for work, where it's not socially acceptable to do that.
Yeah,
you're surrounded by like us, like we're all people who can disagree in a room together and are capable of holding a discussion without it devolving into anger.
Speak for yourself.
No, like we've disagreed about things on this show. I don't
remember doing that.
Oh, okay.
You know what? Fuck you.
The debate episode.
Yeah, the debate episode. Good example.
No idea what you're talking about.
No, well, I told you about that time, right? Like
you were the client, right?
I was with a client of mine, and I absolutely should not have done this in front of my client.
This is at the Y, right?
But you were right. You were 100% correct.
I think I was.
You were in the right.
Yeah, the guy who like started smart mouthing me because I didn't know where the second swimming pool was, and I had no reason to know that. I was just like, well, I'm just with my guy here. We're just going to the workout room. He asked me, he's like, so why say anything if you don't know? And so I told him, whatever you've got up your ass, don't take it out on me. Okay. Right. And then he like got up, he's like a whole head shorter than me. He's like an older guy.
Yeah.
And so like he's getting up in my face and I don't have any intention to escalate.
You don't want to fight.
I just kind of smile and shake my head, like.
But you always got to be ready.
Yeah.
You always got to be ready for some little old guy with something to prove to start swinging fists. Right. You got to be ready, and that's why the response that you had is entirely appropriate.
Yeah.
Because you got to think your body also needs that little shot to be like, hey, you might have to fucking do something right now.
Yeah. My one regret about that was that I did it in front of a client of mine. I should not have done that.
No,
absolutely.
But you were 100% in the right to call him out.
Yeah, he was a dick.
I understand, like, work aside.
Yeah.
You were right. You were absolutely correct to do that.
Yeah, and I'll always be a proponent of the belief that, you know, if you're disrespected on the job, you should be able to stand up for yourself.
I agree. Yeah, I agree 100%.
And I don't buy into this idea of like you're part of the company right now.
Yeah, and
I'm always a human being.
It's really easy for me to say this, having never worked retail. But like,
no, you don't let people talk to you that way.
No, and you shouldn't. And your manager, your direct superior, should not let people talk to you that way.
Right.
It's an outdated and old philosophy that the customer is always right and that you're always and exclusively representing the company.
And I've said this on the podcast before.
That's not what that means.
I know I have. Yeah, that's not what that means.
Right.
The customer is always right refers to the fact that demand drives what you sell.
Correct.
But yeah, so what? We were talking about the funniest anger that you've ever seen in public.
Well, you mentioned your client. Can I bring up the angriest I ever got in public?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You might have.
I think I don't remember if I talked about this on the show or not. This is the closest I ever came to. Actually,
we definitely did talk about this on the show.
Yeah, I almost hit somebody in public.
Yeah.
It was this guy.
Remember this.
It
was it at Home Depot? Where was it?
It was
Dick's.
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yes.
This guy was just like. He was like in line. It was a long line. It might have been around the holidays. And he had his grandson, who who I can only assume was his grandson.
Yeah.
And he was just like berating this kid, and he was in front of me in the line, and he just like he wouldn't stop. He was just like verbally berating this kid, like, I can't believe you would do that. Like the kid like walked off or something in the middle of the store.
Yeah.
And like rather
something
than
that kids do.
Something that kids do, which is like rather than like, okay, I need you to stay by me. Like he just laid into this kid and he wouldn't stop. Yeah. And it got worse and worse and worse. And then he started like pushing the kid. And finally, like the lady in front of me said something, which was a blessing because I was very close to just hitting him in the back of the head. Yeah. I had not a pool cue. I had a golf club in my hand at the time. So worth noting.
Same concept, different game.
Yeah, right. So like he just kept going. This lady was finally like, "Can you stop? Can you please shut?" Like then he started arguing with this lady. And it was getting louder, and like I could see all the people in the store like about to call their managers over, and he started getting closer to this lady, and I put my hand on his shoulder and I went, "No, seriously, you need to stop, or we're gonna have a very, very serious problem." And I kind of like leaned over him and squeezed a little bit, I'm gonna hit you if you don't stop it.
Yeah.
And he was like verbally still going, but he kind of like backed a little
physically
bit.
Backed up.
Yeah, I could see like the reaction of like.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you could feel like veins going off in your own head.
You know the thing where like I didn't. It was one of those things where I didn't understand the phrase like you're seeing red before, and I almost it got to this. You start to hear the blood pressure. Pulsing in your ears. And it got worse and worse and worse. And he was still like verbally going. And by the time we got out of the building, I had him almost backed into the wall. Mm-hmm. And I rang my stuff out, and he kept going. He said something smart assy to me, if I remember correctly. By the time we got outside of the building, and I turned around and I had him like I was backing him into the wall, and it got to the point where like I had dropped the thing that I bought, and I was right there, and I could see that this kid is still with him. And I first of all, I was coming home from work.
Right.
So I have a knife.
You have a
knife. I have a which I always keep very sharp for work. So I had a knife in my pocket, and I felt my hand ball into a fist, like right here down by my pants.
And I just got down on my knees and suck that guy's dick right there in front of Dick's Sporting Goods, and his kid watched too. And I was like, "Yeah, are you embarrassed now? Yeah, you're gay now, huh?"
No, it was like
I showed him.
I showed that guy when I got him off in front of Dick's.
Sorry. Oh, whatever.
Yeah, I got you sexually confused now.
I feel like we needed a little levity here.
No, and it was just the way, like, I don't have a problem with people picking on kids. I just do.
I think a lot of us have that. That's sort of a trip for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Because I think you never forget the feeling
of being belittled when you're a child.
Being belittled as a child. Because you're already smaller than the whole world, and then things take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it was one of those things where, like, the blessing was the lady in front of me who spoke up first, because I think there were a lot of people there who were very close to, like, exploding on this guy.
Yeah.
And it's better to, I don't know a nice way to put this, better to have a woman do it than a man, because a guy's way of expressing that anger is very different.
It's a lot less socially acceptable. She's at less risk of physical retaliation in public.
Right. Whereas my first response
in public is the important part.
You're right.
Yeah. My first response is to cold cock this guy from behind where he can't see it coming.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's almost expected.
That's
in
not a
public.
football move.
Again, in public, it's expected that women will voice that kind of thing, and that if a man does, it's going to lead to a conflict.
But it was a blessing in that she spoke up first, because it took the attention off of the kid and towards her, and then towards me.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, right. Because I'd rather him, like, try and start something with me, because I would ram your head repeatedly into the side of the building until you stop moving. You know, and the kid can't do that. So. But it was like, I remember I had this moment where I couldn't hear anything except a ringing in my ears and my blood pulsing, and I was shaking.
Yeah, and I have that very rarely, and I know what you mean. It's like you're on a different level.
It was a whole body reaction.
That's the threat reaction.
Yeah,
and that's again, speaking to humans as social animals. It's because you feel angry on behalf of someone.
Yes, yeah,
which is something that humans do. I think it's something that other higher order mammals do.
I think so
as
too.
Well. Mothers protecting their cubs and things like that, even if it's not their cubs.
Sure.
Like lots of other animals have an idea of, like, theirs and everyone else.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Whatever that means.
What I ended up doing is, because I got to this point where I had him backed up, and I was like, if I kept going, I was going to hit him. I was going to hit him, and I was going to put his head into the wall.
Yeah.
And which is not cool.
Yep. No, not cool.
Not cool. And I'm like I said, I just got out of work. I got out of work early, and I'm in a work shirt, and I have a knife in my pocket. So, like, I'm one of those people who, like, I can't promise I'm not gonna, like, hurt this guy really.
Yeah.
So I just turned around and I backed up and I went in the car, and what I did is waited for him to leave, and I followed him out of the parking lot, and I went to his house and killed him and his family. I waited for him to leave, and I called.
No one will ever know.
I got his license plate number. I still remember he drove it like a late 90s, early 2000s Ford Mustang, and it was yellow.
Did you call Children's Services?
I called the Youngstown or the Boardman Police Department, and I got a description of the vehicle and the license plate number. So I don't know whatever happened.
Hey, you know what? Here's the thing. If ever again there's an incident with this guy, that's going to be part of the story. That's a supporting piece of evidence that they can use to do something.
Yeah.
Someone like CPS can go, okay, well, yeah, this is the only thing on file, but there's several calls of people saying this guy's a menace.
Yeah.
We can at least use that to look into this guy.
That's how I justified it, because it almost got very violent very quickly, and I'm thinking, like, somebody like my brother-in-law, like Trisha's older brother, that dude would have been dead or hurt very seriously. Like, there, you know, it's just you can't do that kind of shit out in public, because you don't know who's there,
right?
And like,
you sure about this,
Chris? You sure about this, Chris? Yeah, like if someone like me, who is for the most part pretty even keeled, thought for the briefest of moments about stabbing you to death in a parking lot,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're in the wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still angry thinking about it. Like I've never been so pissed in my life, you know.
I had well, I guess I shouldn't talk about that one because it involves a former client of mine. I don't know if that's probably not kosher.
Okay. Yeah.
But I wasn't angry at the client. There was someone who's harassing him.
You should not talk about that.
Yeah,
one.
No,
if this is the story I think it is.
Yeah, it was a legal case. Can't go into details about it probably.
Yeah.
But needless to say, it was terrible. But I remember one time when I was in my early teens. I say early teens. I was probably 11 or 12.
Yeah. You're late preteens.
My late
or your very early teens.
Yeah. Yeah, my late early preteens.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I was so you know, like you do, I was out at the short holes at Mill Creek with my dad, you know, in the long-term process of teaching me and my brother golf. And you see my dad's swing, right?
Yeah.
Like he's a fucking monster.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got a great swing, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has a fucking amazing swing. It always slices is the problem, but he gets some great distance.
That's cool.
So he's teaching us how to golf. You know, we're at the par 3 holes at par 2 holes at Mill Creek Park.
Par 2.
That's par 3.
Are they par 3?
Par
Okay.
3, yeah.
I don't know. They always feel shorter than they really are.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, those short holes at Mill Creek, and you know, I'm having an especially bad day, and me being, you know, a kid with Asperger's syndrome, at, you know, 11 or 12 years old, I of course start going off on my equipment, on nature.
Oh,
Just
God.
wail on it.
As an also on the spectrum golfer, I
just
wholly identify.
So things feels good.
Yep.
Yeah, so at one point, I want to say it was on maybe like our 4th or 5th hole of 9. I slam my iron into the ground and shout some kind of cuss word, and this guy on the adjacent tee shouts over at me, "Will you calm down?"
Not now.
Not now. I won't.
So like I turned to look at him and like my dad and this guy tried to defuse the situation, and like, you know, I'm just like, I'm so pissed, like I'm ready to break my club, right?
Yeah.
So like, cut to 2 holes later, we're just focusing on squaring your shoulders, getting your grip right, and the guy comes over to the tee at like the 7th or 8th hole, and he says, "I want to apologize for before. I can tell you're having a tough time. If you wouldn't mind, I want to give you some pointers." Huh. And I was so like
Taken aback by it.
Yeah, I was so stunned by it. I was like, "Yeah, of course. Yeah."
I think that would make me angrier, but okay.
No, I think that would back me off. Yeah.
No, It was the way he came up.
If someone explained it to you calmly, if they gently approach,
if you really believe him,
if you believe, you have to believe somebody. Yeah,
because
most people aren't.
Like he introduced himself. He made it clear that this is a common thing for golfers.
Yes,
right. It's okay to get frustrated.
Very common thing for golfers.
So I let him show me a thing or two about my grip. Like making a V with your thumb and pointing it over your shoulder. I remember that very clearly. And so he said, I have a few spare balls here. Let's see a few practice drives over to the green. And so we did. And
that's nice.
it was a real happy ending to that whole story. Because normally, my interactions with complete strangers when I would get angry were less than positive.
Sure.
But this guy took the time out of his day to, try and improve my golf game instead, which was
Drink
great.
to that guy here.
Yeah, right.
And
here's to that guy.
Here's to that guy.
There's not enough of that. In the world.
Everyone left the course happy that day.
Sure.
My dad really appreciated it. It was a good day.
Sure. Like, and that's the thing, spectrum or not, that's
Time
part of being a golfer.
It's part of being a golfer, and
I've watched professional golfers snap their clubs and throw them in the water.
I've done that as a grown ass adult.
Me too. It's part of the game.
The thing is, though, one important lesson I learned that day. don't let your temper interrupt other golfers.
Yes.
That's
a big no-no.
Of disrespect.
It's called golf etiquette.
Yeah.
It's actually in the rule book. You can professionally you can get penalized for that.
Right. One of the things that defines autism spectrum disorder is an inability to empathize with other people.
Yes.
And that was one of the things that kind of showed me like, okay, well, I really wouldn't like it if someone's shouting 2 T's over right right next to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that dude, obviously showed a lot of patience and really made it turned it into a better experience.
That's a good thing. That's a really good thing. Like, there's a huge lack of that in the world now, or at least in this country.
Have you guys seen the video of the dude freaking out at McDonald's because he ordered a quarter pounder and didn't get it, and
I haven't seen this.
This dude in one of the booths is like, I got my burger and it tastes good. Like, just antagonize him, and then he gets the dude complaining into like a full Nelson, and the shorts, his gym shorts are like halfway down his ass, and the dude on top of him is like, "You gonna apologize?" Public, we've watched public freakouts before.
Oh, it's so
good. Yeah.
Seriously, one of my favorite things in the world.
It's so weird. Like, we all experience anger. We all experience anger at some point in our lives, either for ourselves or on behalf of others.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring up anti-vaxxers in this episode. We might not have time to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, whatever. It's the season finale. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
Right. Sure.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I'm angry on behalf of the kids who don't get vaccinated because their parents are fucking stupid hippies.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
One of the things that outrages me, and I think outrages Christy, and probably outrages us all to various degrees, is people with their own set of facts.
Oh, yeah.
That don't feel like they need to conform to like our global quest to know what's true and why.
Yeah.
And then if it feels good to believe it, it's probably good enough.
The inability to have your opinion swayed by facts.
Yes, right.
You know what I mean? Like
reasonable people learn.
And I think too some of this comes from this idea that skeptics are by their nature somehow smarter.
Yeah.
But there's a fine line between being a skeptic and believing every piece of information that's counter to general wisdom that you hear.
Yeah.
Being a skeptic doesn't just mean saying no to conventional wisdom because you don't like what that conventional wisdom looks like.
And people don't get that.
Yeah.
That's why we have flat earthers. That's why we have anti-vaxxers.
People are skeptical of science, especially, and there's some reasons. I mean, like science as a discipline can seem dogmatic.
Yeah.
Especially in certain disciplines where established science starts to feel unchallengeable because it's political.
Yeah.
So like if we found out tomorrow that climate change wasn't happening the way that science, the scientific community agrees it is, it would feel like you couldn't challenge it.
Yeah.
It would feel wrong to go, actually, we were wrong about this.
But on the other hand, if they're right, the cost to do something different is very minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
There's no harm in believing that it's right.
Yeah. I guess it's just like, that's why some people like to be naysayers to establish what we think are facts in the name of being skeptics.
Sure.
And I think going even deeper with that, I think some people like to apply the label skeptic to themselves because they like to try and be the smartest person in the room. They like to try and be unique. They like to try and be different.
Sheeple.
Yeah. I think that for a lot of people is a thing. I think they like to be skeptics because it makes them unique. It makes them different.
There's nothing wrong with being skeptical and questioning things.
Certainly not. But every once in a while, you have to admit conventional wisdom is correct.
Okay, so I'll give you a good example. I used to be one of those people who was anti-GMO.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah?
I was I was like pretty seriously anti-GMO.
I did not know that about you.
Well, and then I listened to and I gotta thank the liberal NPR. I gotta thank
Liberal NPR.
I listened
the leftist agenda of Terry Gross.
I listened to something on Fresh Air that was done by a nutritionalist and a nutrition scientist who had switched his positions on GMOs.
Yeah.
And I listened to him do his thing, and then I went and read his article, and then I went and read a bunch of other articles.
Yeah.
And I changed my mind.
When you realize that GMOs are specifically things that are bred to be a certain way, not like mutant vegetables that have tentacles growing out.
Not like millions of chemicals that they're throwing in there to brain control you. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I used to be pretty seriously full organic, anti-GMO.
Right.
And then I read a bunch of stuff and okay, GMOs are like maybe the only thing that's keeping.
They're going to save the planet.
They're going to save the planet. They're going to save the fucking planet. They're going to.
We live on a planet.
They're the only reason that
unless, of course, we run out of.
They're the only reason that 40% of the planet isn't living in famine right now.
Yeah. The thing is, this is how the other half lives problem.
Yeah.
Because in other parts of the world, the problem is, can we get our crops to not die and survive long enough for us to eat them?
Yeah.
And then in this part of the world, where we have endless plentiful food, it's, I don't know, is it good enough?
Yeah, right, exactly.
I don't know. I have everything. Let's find something else to bitch about.
And I was recently, within the last, since I was dating Trisha, so within the last 7 or 8 years, going into that relationship, I was pretty seriously anti-GMO.
I don't fault anyone for starting at that position because it's fed to us aggressively.
Sure. I watched all the Netflix documentaries. I read all the fucking, the bullshit. Yeah. And not to say that that's not a valid opinion because I understand the heart behind it.
There may come a time when genetic modification is applied in an unsafe way, and we should not just accept it.
Agreed.
We also want to know what's being sprayed on our food, which is not an unreasonable position.
No, it is not.
Not at all.
But not necessarily the same as the GMO argument as it stands in this day and age. Mm-hmm. And it was something that I was like, what kind of shit are they putting on the food? You know what I mean? I was one of those people.
Yeah, what's
really going on over here?
Sure.
I'm just listening back to old
Stay
episodes.
tuned for that on the best of maybe. It was one of those things where I had to change my mind, and that was I hate to say it, but that's one of the first times as an adult that I pulled myself out of that social construct of not being able to change your mind.
And you know what? Weirdly, it's not that good a feeling.
No, it's not.
No,
it sucks.
for me, it felt bad.
It sucks admitting that you are probably wrong about something.
That's what it is. You admit that you're wrong, and that comes back to the social animal thing. It's a social threat to admit that we're wrong.
Yeah.
It's a social threat to admit that we're mistaken about some idea or some concept that we think we know what's good for the community, for the tribe, what have you.
Yeah.
And then to discover evidence that we're wrong, that's a threatening idea.
Yeah.
It is, because we depend on some degree of certainty. We have to think we live in a world that we understand well enough.
Yes.
That we only have to worry about so many things because we have everything else pretty well figured out.
Yeah.
I think that's a certain zone of intellect. This is going to sound really. All right, try and follow me here, right?
The Rick and Morty fans, listen close here.
No, there's a zone of intellect.
You have to have a high enough IQ to understand this conversation.
Okay, so
right
listen,
now.
right? There's a zone of intellect where that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Between a certain level of
oh yeah, I know what you mean.
You're not stupid, but you're not smart. You're in that zone. That's very hard for people in that zone.
What knowledge will benefit me in my immediate environment?
I think it's either people who aren't considered smart people and people who are considered smart people are able to make those adjustments mentally.
There is a thing
and say I am wrong about something, but there's a certain subsect, which is a large part of the population, of folks who are of maybe slightly below average to maybe average intelligence.
It's a crest in the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Sure.
Of the people who are just smart enough.
They're not able to admit when they're wrong about things. I think, by and large.
Now, I think this happens, and I could be wrong, I think this happens more often in the United States, where sticking to your principles, standing your ground,
part of our national
going
value.
out guns blazing, is such a part of American identity.
Right.
It's sad.
It is sad.
It is. It absolutely is.
Standing your ground, even when that means deliberately being wrong.
Yeah.
Because on principle, you're right.
And my supporting argument is our current political situation.
Yeah. Yes.
Standing your ground even
This
when
isn't
we're
new either.
No, it's
demonstrably wrong.
Yeah.
No, it's just more vocal now, which goes along with the anger of like. I think thinking about it now, we are still in the anger stage. We're just maybe in the later stages of it.
Well, it feels like it feels like we've been like this is a wave, and it just keeps happening.
This is the late '60s, early '70s.
You know,
it's happening again. Yeah.
You know what I think is really that this nation is in its adolescence. We're young compared to other nations. Look at France. Look at England. Look
Russia.
At Germany's a relatively young nation, but yeah, look at Russia. Look at these cultures that have flourished.
Yeah.
What is American culture? American culture will differ vastly more. Versus whether you visit L.A. or Topeka, Kansas, as opposed to whether you visit
melting pot,
as opposed to whether you visit Vladivostok or St. Petersburg.
Sure,
the culture will differ a lot more in the American scene.
Sure,
and you know, it's a matter of my theory is that we're in our adolescence. We're in the angry teenage years of a developing nation.
That's a very valid opinion. I think you might be onto something.
And I think establishing a culture, in the same way that proto France or proto Spain was not France or Spain necessarily. It had a bunch of warlords. It had a bunch of chieftains and kings vying over territory. I think what we're looking at is the equivalent here, and that eventually an American identity is going to emerge. But I think right now, we're in a very angry adolescent, you can't tell me what to do kind
I think
of
that
stage.
tracks. Think about like when England was the international powerhouse way back, 1600s, 1700s?
1700s, 1800s.
Right, yeah, right. It was, I think, kind of much the same thing. They were in that you can't tell us what to do sort of phase.
Well, no one could tell England what to do,
right?
Because they were the world,
except France,
right? But okay, what about the United States? We're supposedly this global power, or is that just the propaganda machine that we're being fed?
Well, I don't know. We are. We are. Our dollar is the de facto dollar.
Correct.
We have that authority.
That's what I mean.
Our language is the lingua franca for international communication.
Sure.
Yes. And where we may lack sort of like...
And that's dangerous. We're teenagers with nukes.
But wasn't England much the same way when they owned half the world?
Welcome to History Part 3.
Yeah, sorry. This discussion went really serious really quick. Sorry.
Well, that's what anger does.
Yeah.
It takes you to some serious places.
I think it's interesting because
good.
I think it's interesting that I don't know, it's now widely perceived that we lack a certain moral authority now. And part of that is the president we elected.
But it goes back
and part of that is who we've always been.
The president that 48% of the country elected.
Yeah, right.
Elected.
Right. But for better or worse, we've got him. And I think it's interesting. We sit in this place of immense international power.
Yeah.
And that power is starting to look illegitimate.
Yeah.
Sure. And I think it's worth examining that legitimacy.
I agree. I actually couldn't agree more. I remember I was listening to some thing on NPR where they were talking about how Angela Merkel, could possibly emerge as the next front runner for like as a world power.
Germany and Angela Merkel will at some point be the moral center of the developed Western world.
Agreed.
Where we will not. We may continue to remain the economic center.
What a century-long shift that'll be.
Yeah, sure. Right. No, but like that's
joke's on you, world.
Think about it.
We're gonna have to adopt long words for everything.
Merkel and Trudeau are like the moral.
Yeah. Other countries look to them the way that they looked to us.
Yes.
Even just a few
not
years
that long ago. Like within the decade.
The emperor has no clothes. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like everyone already kind of knew that America was, everyone knows our worst impulses.
Yeah.
As people.
Yeah.
But for a long time, we elected people better than us.
Yes.
And now we didn't. We elected our worst.
Speaking of our worst impulses and the topic, which is anger.
Sorry.
I'm getting angry right now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we are. And I predicted the episode would go this way, which is why I have my secret weapon in store. Do you remember that time we were at Cheddar's with Drew and those two guys got into a fist fight right next to us?
I do remember that. Drew handled that as well as you can handle anybody.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of bar fights in my life.
Yeah.
She handled that better than any other bar fight.
But it erupted right next to us.
Yeah, right there.
Before we knew what was happening, these two guys were slamming into the bar between you and Drew.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I believe Drew's exact words were, "What the fuck?
What the fuck?" She went.
That I'm sure I can hear it in my head.
Yeah, this is how I know I have smart friends.
Yeah.
Everybody at that bar backed off. We all kind of like did this thing, and then
you ninja'd your way back.
We paused a second to examine the situation to see if we were a part of it.
Right.
Drew, especially, who kind of like ducked and covered, she got bumped into, and she kind of like waited. And she kind of like tucked her head down and got away like this. And she went, "What the fuck?"
Our poor bartender couldn't have been older than like 22 or 23.
Yeah.
She was so scared.
Yeah. Well, it's scary when a fight starts in public.
It was two fat white people. And like, you know,
and the fight was over Tunyon rings or something like that.
Yeah, they couldn't have done much damage. They didn't do much damage to anything around us, but like the cops obviously did show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and let them both go, if I remember correctly. By the time we were leaving, they were the cops had been like, "All right, well, you guys just leave, part ways."
Yeah,
which I think was probably the right way to handle that.
That's a good way. I think I was saying the other night, like in the state of Washington or in the city of Seattle, something like that. It's legal to have a fist fight.
As long as everyone consents to it.
If everyone's cool with it, you can even have a cop referee your fight.
That should be the de facto. That should be the de facto. If I want to fist fight you and you want to fist fight me, fuck off, government.
I agree.
Just let him do it.
Yeah,
let him do it. Fuck it.
We are consenting adults and we want to beat the shit out of each other.
You can do it in hockey. Why can't you do it in fucking real life?
The thing is, most rational guys in this case would probably end that fight with, "All right, you want to go have a beer?"
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a lot of times that's how that ends. Is like,
"You good, buddy?
Let me buy you a drink."
As long as someone is there to make sure no one like fucking sends anyone to the hospital,
right?
You know, just like, you know, separate each other, let them cool off, and be like, "Okay, look, let's have a beer, let's talk this over."
Yeah,
a lot of conflicts can be resolved that way.
Agreed.
Ultimately, I want to close this because I know we're getting up to the.
We had a very spirited discussion.
I didn't even get into. I don't think I really got to say what I meant to say about anger, which is
no. Please do.
No,
quitting Facebook has taken a lot of it out of my life.
Yeah.
I spent the better part of 2017, 2018 getting angry on purpose.
Getting rid of Facebook. If you spend enough time
online, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Getting rid of Facebook was one of the best things I've ever done.
Because the thing is, even if you don't think that's what's going to happen in your evening, when you sit down and you scroll through your feed, you're going to find stuff that it knows that pisses you off, which is the stuff you normally react to.
Since I dumped Facebook, I have measurably spent more time on my hobbies.
Yeah, me too.
And it's great.
Think about how many nights
Facebook is cancerous.
How many
Everyone
nights did you
should dump
spend
it.
scrolling through Facebook and you don't even know what you looked at?
I quit and then went back, and honestly, I think you guys are right.
Get off of Facebook, man. Seriously.
I think you guys are right.
Here's my thought. If you can use it responsibly, then it's fine.
Which I have been. In my defense, I have been ever since I came back. I stopped arguing with people over everything.
I think most people can't do that, Chris.
Yeah.
And I think you'll get sucked in every now and then too.
I couldn't. And I did. You
still will sometimes.
I still will, but I've stopped like seeking out the argument, I think.
Yeah.
But it's fair. It's hard.
It's
so easy now.
It's juice, man. It's just right in
It
here.
is. And that's the thing. I want to close this episode by saying that that anger is natural. Anger is necessary, I would argue.
Yeah, it can be advantageous.
Sure. For a person to be functional in society,
it's healthy.
They have to be able to know and react when they've been wronged.
Anger has a place in our lives.
It absolutely has a place, but it has to have a balance. Mm-hmm. And finding that balance is something, some of us struggle with more than others. Yeah. Some of us get angry too much. Some of us don't get angry often enough.
Yeah, there are right things to get angry about. There are things to get angry about that show people in your life who you are, and you should.
Exactly. It shows you and it shows everyone else where your convictions lie.
Yes, and if you don't have any, then you just may as well not be living. You deserve to have convictions.
You deserve to be angry once in a while. So I invite all of our listeners to examine anger, to examine where it comes from and what it says about you. What are you passionate enough about to get angry about? I think it's important to examine that. That's what I want to close on.
I agree.
I think that's part of being a smart, well-rounded adult.
Just being an adjusted human being.
An adjusted human being is being able to decide what you want to get angry about and what hill you're willing to die on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to die on the fact that Sonic's arms are blue, more power to you. But
if it's that important,
you know what?
Fine.
But the Great Barrier Reef is dying.
The Great Barrier Reef is dying.
All the ice is going to melt in our lifetime.
There are still slaves on the planet Earth.
Right. Yes.
Humans owned by other humans.
Yes. Antarctica is releasing unforeseen amounts of carbon as it melts.
Yes.
Creating a feedback loop of carbon release.
More important, all the freshwater ice is going to melt, and that's what's going to flood the planet.
Yes.
It's going to happen. You don't have a choice.
We haven't figured out a large-scale desalination plan.
Are fucking blue. They're not brown like in the original. Anyway, we're gonna. Anyway,
real talk though.
I'm just saying
we're too late. All the freshwater ice is gonna melt.
We're gonna die.
It's over.
It's not even worth talking about.
We have to try and fix it now.
Can't solve it now.
There is such a thing as good, justified, righteous anger. I encourage people to explore it. I encourage people to understand where their anger comes from and examine
it good for you.
Its place in its life. Make anger good for you. Make anger work for you.
Don't let it run your life. Let it enhance your life.
Exactly. Let it fuel your convictions.
Let it be something that is justified and righteous and healthy.
Freak out, throw stuff. We'll be right back with recommendations and what we've learned.
Yeah, throw stuff.
All right.
Are we back on?
Welcome back to Smokin' and Smokin'.
Yeah, right. Sorry. Sorry.
So,
no, it's all me. I'm puffing on this old back and
I was just saying it off mic, but can I reiterate?
didn't you quit smoking?
Well, yeah, I quit smoking. But
okay.
But I'm not
so did I.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway.
Wait, what? Why do you say that?
Because you literally have a cigarette in your mouth.
No, it's a black and mild.
Isn't that a cigarette?
Not really, because you don't inhale these.
It's what's considered
it's like a cigar.
A cigarello, a mini cigar.
A cigarello.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can inhale them, but I wouldn't because
I don't know the difference.
They have the cancer paper on the inside.
My vice is alcohol.
Yes.
So anyway,
also my vice.
No, can I just reiterate?
Also, masturbation.
Big mood. Big mood.
Why in the world did I think when you went mass? I thought mass suicide,
mass execution.
That's my vice. I've done 15 mass suicides in my life.
I gotta say, gross. I think it's a record.
So many suckers jumped onto those train tracks, and I did not. I'm the smart one.
They call me Mr. Flinch. I've almost died 15 times.
No, let me say seriously, this is a really good topic and a really great way to end the season. Probably this is probably going to be the last episode before the best of.
It's one of the emotions we haven't touched on. We've done sadness, we've done happiness, we've done fear. I feel like anger was the rational,
next logical.
Yeah. There's got to be. I mean, 4 is not a clean number. There's got to be a 5th emotion
we'll
we're
figure
missing.
It out.
Lust, of course, it's lust.
Oh yeah.
No, we talked about lusty things across the course of this show.
Yeah, but not as a single topic. Yeah. So
remember that episode about Pauly Shore's jiggling robotic ass?
First episode of season 4 is going to be Lust, hosted by Dave.
Oh,
the lustiest person in the room.
That just can't be true.
I mean, So anyway,
no, can I just say really quick? This is going to sound really stupid, but one of my dreams is to be one of those old guys at some point in my life.
Yeah.
I want to be one of those old guys who wakes up really early and goes to like McDonald's.
Yeah.
And sits with a group of his buddies and has really
and
long
reads the paper and talks about things.
Yeah, just have like a long discussion and like shoots the shit with his friends for hours.
dude,
Yeah.
dude, you're right.
Yeah, right?
That does sound really dumb. No, I totally get what you mean. I totally get. I get that, but I envision it being at a bar instead. Because if I'm 80 and I'm sitting on loads of retirement money and I already know I'm not going to have any kids, like, you know, what the fuck do I care?
Yeah, at a bar at like noon.
I'll wake up and drink 7 beers every morning.
Yeah,
Fuck
who cares? No, like I envision myself as one of those guys, one of those old guys who like
breakfast is actually a special old man activity.
You sit with a group of your friends and just talk like politics and world affairs and like stuff. Have conversations. And that's what this episode felt like to me.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
And what's really weird too about
elderly men.
What's really weird too about like old people and breakfast is like go ahead.
No,
seriously.
I'm interested here.
A lot of old people go to the doctor because they feel like they're not getting enough sleep. The fact of the matter is, there's a common misconception that old people need more sleep than like someone in their 30s or 40s.
Incorrect.
That's not true.
Yeah.
You know,
old people only need like 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
From the time I was very young, I remember, I think it was probably, you guys maybe probably didn't see these. There were a series of like children's encyclopedias, I guess, that were like based on the Peanuts gang.
I read those in first grade.
Yeah, so I had like the whole
I
set
memorized my shapes.
God, I should really try
triangle, rectangle,
yeah, they had
pentagon,
the Peanuts gang
septagon,
in it, right?
Yeah.
So like there was all like the Charlie Brown gang teaching you about this, that, and the other thing. And I remember they did one that showed the stages of like sleep, where like babies got to be asleep like almost all the day. And then as you get a little older, a little less.
You say that, but babies will wake you up constantly.
Their sleep schedules are weird, but they sleep more than like a kid who sleeps more than a teenager, who sleeps more than an adult, who sleeps more than like
their muscles are underdeveloped. They need more time to rest.
Yeah. And so for some reason that just stuck out in my head.
Yeah, old people don't need as much sleep as they think they do.
Yeah, right.
It's like 3 to 5 hours of sleep every night.
Wouldn't it freak you out if you like slept 3 or 5 hours? And
hell no, that's more time to play Call of Duty, man.
Yeah, man.
Right, but if you can't sleep more, you got to be like, well, what's happening to me?
What's happening? I would already understand because I already have that knowledge. So I would just go and watch some fucking Netflix. I would live it up. I would go see what bars are open at 1 a.m. and fucking drink my ass off because I'm old and I have a bunch of money. What do I have to lose?
That's right.
See, that's
implying that when you're old, you're gonna have a bunch of money.
I will. That's my goal. That's my goal.
Millennials, dude.
You know what? But here's the thing.
No, you're right. It's.
I actually think we have a half decent chance of making something out of this mess.
We are not stupid people.
No.
You get bunches of money off commission and you're also working towards something better. You have a full-time job.
Mm-hmm. As soon as my house.
And you're the only one of us that owns a house.
As soon as my student loans are gone, I'm gonna feel like a millionaire.
I have no student loans and I have a full-time job. Everything's going up for us. Mm-hmm. Slowly but surely, everything is going up for us.
I just got a big raise at work. I didn't even tell you.
Yeah?
Good for you.
Yeah, so
you never mentioned that.
I know, it just happened. So yeah, like
good
this is like,
shit, yo.
So the standard raise last year was 1.7%, which is still a raise, right?
Yeah,
it's not the biggest raise in the world, but it's a raise.
But it is a raise.
I was happy with that.
Yeah.
This year the raises went up to 3%.
Oh, great.
Ooh.
Now, I was already happy with that. Then it turns out the companies started doing this thing, maybe they always did it, where they look at you versus the rest of the job market and they want to make sure they're not underpaying people so they
That's smart.
It's a market adjustment.
That's smart.
So on top of that, it ended up being like close to 8%.
Oh my God, that's great.
7.5%.
Dude,
wow.
Yeah, right?
Excellent.
Oh, that's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm like over the fucking moon.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so
Dude, that's awesome.
Stuff's happening.
That is job security in action.
I'm very happy.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, man,
Good
that's
for you.
great. If I had a drink, I would drink to that. Oh.
But no, this is the thing. I think this is the thing between where we are, where we're around 30 years old collectively. You're not 30 yet, right?
29.
29.
Still enjoying that life.
April,
bud.
right?
I'm 31, and Dave, you're 32.
I'm going on 33, so yes.
Heavens. Okay, so Chris is the baby.
The wee baby.
In case you couldn't tell by all the evidence on this podcast,
Seamus.
I'm the most immature one on the show.
Maybe.
No, but yeah, we're all around the same age. We're all around 30.
Maybe.
And I think the difference between us and what is conventionally thought of millennials.
Yeah.
I'll toast
To your race.
whatever the hell we're saying here. The difference is that we do see the long term, and we do see what, kind of what's in store. Mm-hmm. We do think definitely of what, when we're 60, what's our paycheck going to look like? Will we still be working paycheck to paycheck? That sort of thing. And so we plan ahead. We act a little bit, we act kind of smart, I think, in the long term.
I think I've caught this ashtray on fire.
You might have.
Yeah, I've noticed
that.
Something is happening in here.
Just leave it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, sure.
No, leave it there. See what
It's
happens.
hot on my fingers.
It's getting worse.
It's getting worse.
It's getting worse. Pour some beer on that.
I'm going to take this into the other room and
Oh, no, let it go. I just want to see what happens.
Yeah, no, let's not do that. Oh, it's actually
Let
hot.
it go. Let it go.
Oh, no.
Let it go. Let it go. Let it burn out on the floor.
So yeah, no, this has been, I think, a really good year for the Three Dudes show.
Yeah, man. For all of us individually, I got married. You're getting married. You're getting married. Oh my God.
I'm gonna get married. It's not gonna happen for another year and a half.
Doesn't matter.
But I'm getting married.
I'm still like just reminding myself that you're going to be getting married.
I can't believe it. I can still see her face when I proposed to her, and that excitement hasn't left.
Yeah,
It really hasn't.
Worth noting, I got my wedding photos right before I showed up to this podcast, so I got to relive that again, which is that day went by in such a quick blur that it was nice to go back and see the
all except when we were waiting across the corner from the White House, the White House, the Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse. Yeah.
We're just standing there all in our suits, sweating our asses off.
Yeah, right.
Like, all right, when's this photographer
We're
getting
gonna
here?
get this shit done.
Remember how scary that was?
Yeah.
Of like, wait a minute, the timetable is falling apart. What is going to happen?
That's part of the wedding.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Everything went pretty much perfectly.
It did. It really did.
That was a fantastic wedding.
All that credit goes to my wife. All of it.
We danced to New York. Well, we were both like going da da.
I have a picture of that. I have a picture of that.
Do you?
There's a picture of us.
Yes.
Standing arm in arm kicking. Yeah.
Fuck yes.
Yes. I have a
my
picture
God.
of
It was
that.
an incredibly fun time.
I also have a picture of us dancing, like prom dancing. Like, you and I.
Leaving room for Jesus.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I have a picture. I have. The photos are really great, actually.
You left room for Jesus.
Right.
Bless it. Well, it was nautical themed, so you left room for Neptune.
Right, sure.
That's right. We're coming up to yours. We have to talk about what we're going to do for your bachelor party, and
It's
will.
so funny. Before you showed up today, we were talking about all of this.
I know.
Like how fun yours was and how fun it's going to be.
Yeah,
I love my bachelor
I haven't
party.
I haven't given you guys, obviously, like there's no surprise here. You guys are going to be in my wedding, obviously.
Sure.
I haven't given you the official thing yet, but
We
it's
accept.
coming.
I accept.
We
It's
accept.
coming. Yeah, obviously. I would fucking kill you if you didn't. So
no, we accept. It's worth noting.
absolutely. Okay, so recommendations.
Yes.
Should we?
We should. We shall.
Shall we?
We shall.
Should we?
Dave, have you a recommendation?
I do. Can I do two?
Yes.
Real quick?
You sure
Oh, yeah.
can.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, what
Chris
fucking
does two
cares?
all the time,
I do
man.
two all the time. I've done three before, so go for
I'm
it.
going to keep them quick, though, because we're running a little.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
it's our
fine.
show. It's our show. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, right. What do I care?
What do you care? It's
do
the
I
season
care?
finale. It's our show. Do whatever you want.
Not only
It's
is
our
it our
show.
show, it's our show for us.
It's
This is so when we're old.
Shit anymore.
There's a couple people who also happen to like this show.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is for us to like do our thing. So do whatever you want.
All right. Well, here, let me do it this way. So, number one, this is something that is a very, like, this is not a surprise to anyone. Doom is a really fun fucking game.
Dude.
Yeah.
Doom is really fun. This recommendation comes
Doom
with a
2016,
Yes.
by the way.
Yes, this comes with a thank you to Aubrey.
Yes.
For giving me the gift of Doom, which is something I've wanted for so long, and just now finally have a PC worthy of running it. And she gifted it to me for Christmas on Steam. The way she did it, you were probably in the room. She went, "Hey, when's the last time you've been on Steam?" And I went,
Yeah, I remember that.
and then I was like, "Wait, why are you asking?" And she was like, "I don't know."
It's never easy to get anyone to accept a Steam gift because it never really notifies you in an elegant way.
Yeah, it's not really good at it. Like,
Yeah.
especially if you're like kind of signed out on your friends list,
Right.
Then you definitely don't know. So anyway, thank you to Aubrey for this because this game is stupid fun.
It's
We talked about this a little bit
fucking
earlier
awesome.
tonight. It's fucking metal as fuck.
Dude, it's all the old school shooter staples. It's like exactly what you want as an old gamer.
In a way, Doom 16 feels like if they had the ability to do what they wanted to do with Doom back when they created
in
Doom.
1992.
It would be a
two, right?
1991.
Was it really? Oh my god.
1991, yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I had Doom on a floppy disk, so
I had
A couple floppy disks,
Yeah, right,
probably.
couple, right.
I downloaded the demo from AOL.
oh my god.
And it was awesome.
People still mod the original Doom today.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, like there's no denying its impact. And
It's a
power.
good game. It's still a good game. It doesn't like graphically doesn't hold up, but it's still fun.
Right. No, it's still fun. Like, games are inherently... Like, if a game is inherently fun, it doesn't matter if the world moves past it.
Yeah, Doom 16 acknowledges that the world moved past it and really injects some of that new energy into it.
Yeah.
that the sheer rage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something great you said when we were talking about this earlier is that the game presents Doom Guy as a dude who is over it.
Yeah, he's fucking done.
Doom Guy doesn't care. He's getting messages from scientists like, please, whatever you do, don't. And then he just smashes that thing. He's being told not to smash.
No hell.
It's anyway. To keep it short, I've just started playing. I haven't finished the game yet. I am fucking loving Doom.
Of course.
As a dude who is often very scared in first-person shooters,
Yeah.
that game makes you feel like a god.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's supposed to. Everything about the design
Right.
of that game is meant to make you feel powerful and badass.
Which is awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of like the my time in between like sort of these old school shooters and now has been like hiding behind cover, being afraid of things that were way more powerful than me.
Yeah.
This game makes you feel like, run in there with your dick out and just like go crazy, right?
Hell yeah, that's the way Doom's supposed to be, man.
Yeah.
Constant movement, constant firepower.
Rotate and shoot. Right.
Yeah. Second recommendation.
Yes.
Silicon Valley just ended.
Yes.
It just had its series finale.
Oh,
That's it.
Oh shit.
It's done.
I didn't realize it was already that quick. I feel like you were just recommending it at the season open.
I
Not that
was.
long ago. So.
Yeah. The thing is, like, that show was dead for a couple of years.
Yeah, right.
Because T.J. Miller did his whole thing and, got
JT
fired
Miller,
from the
right winger for the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so T.J. Miller got fired, and that show kind of went dark for like a couple of years, and then they came back with a final season, which I don't even think most people were certain they were going to do. But they had to end that show, right? After 5 years of doing a show that big, you have to end it. I think they did an incredible job. Silicon Valley is... The final season is centered around, I guess, what you could say is the this decade's legacy of tech, which is ethical problems in technology, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So, like, for 5 whole seasons, they had a whole lot of fun with the company trying to make a fun product and doing a bad job at times, and then people conspiring against each other and the business of running a tech company. The final season is very much focused on like technology might. It has the potential to cause huge problems for us if we don't pay attention to, writing software ethically.
Phone bad.
Phone bad. Tree good.
Yeah, no, I absolutely get that.
So, without spoiling anything about the show, this final season does something really, really brilliant. In, I don't know, just like providing a message that's really relevant to where technology is now in a way that I feel like, I don't know, it took us like till the end of this decade to figure it out. That we had stepped in shit.
Figure it out.
Anyway.
No, you're right.
It's a very exciting season. It's really funny. It has. I watched the finale today and I laughed so hard I couldn't believe it.
That's good. There's nothing better than the show that knows how to end.
There's at least one joke that is 6 seasons long and pays off in a way that you will like something that you never would have thought of, and it was set up all the way at the very beginning, and it pays off in a way that makes you die at the end.
That's what TV tropes calls a brick joke.
A brick joke.
A brick joke.
Like as in it's built into the foundation kind of thing?
No. There's a reason for it. There's a trope namer for it.
Like a brick going through a window kind of thing?
A brick that gets thrown in one part and then shows up again in another.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's
like based on an actual incident of some show.
Right.
Okay.
I think it's actually based on XKCD. The webcomic. But yeah, look it up. On TV tropes, it's called Brick Joke.
Okay.
That might qualify.
Anyway, watch it. It's super good. The finale is great. And not only is the finale great, they made an extended 26-minute long documentary, which is part of the final episode is like, oh, it's 10 years into the future, and here's where they are. And they keep cutting between where the show ended and 10 years into the future. They keep going back and forth.
Oh.
But the entirety of that 10 years in the future is available as a 26-minute documentary on YouTube. Yeah. So like once you've watched the show and been amazed at how they ended it, there's even more bonus footage. Bill Gates shows up.
Oh my God.
Does he jump over a chair?
He does not. He's an old guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's jumping over chairs anymore. But
what a pussy.
what a complete pussy.
What a fucking loser.
Asswipe.
Anyway, watch it. I've been talking for way longer than I thought I would. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, it's all right. Take your time.
But yeah, watch Silicon Valley. Like if you haven't started it, please watch the show. It's so good.
Yeah. I will.
Yeah.
I will on your recommend because this is like at this point the third or fourth time you've recommended.
Let me watch the pilot
show.
with you.
Okay.
I don't care what it is. I'll watch the pilot with you.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm going to do my recommendations next because I have like 6 or 7 of them floating around in my head.
Do it, yeah.
Things that I have liked in the past month.
Ooh.
That like I'm going to condense. I'm going to do 2.
Take your time. Do what you got to do. I have to pee. I'm going to listen from the other room.
Yeah,
okay. So I'm going to do 2 because Chris still needs to do his recommendations. But in the past month or so, the 2 things that I've really fallen in love with, first of all, is and this might be a re-recommendation. I have recommended this in a prior episode.
Okay.
The original Deus Ex.
I don't know if you did, but let's talk about it.
So I finally beat the original Deus Ex. I got. It's not difficult if you save in the right spots to get all 3 endings.
Okay.
The ways the story can twist and turn, though, depending on what you decide and what you do, is really cool. The developer foresight is incredible. But ultimately, you get to the kind of the same final sequence, and you have 3 options of what to do. Mm-hmm. And it's not hard to create a save and then go through all 3 endings.
Okay.
And it's a little overbearing, honestly, in that, it's like sophomore philosophy class all over again, like what purpose does government serve? Can a government replace God? Can technology replace God?
Yeah, I never got the sense that Deus Ex's moral philosophy was anything incredibly highbrow, but it's
not really
for a general audience.
General audience, yeah.
And for someone like me, even, I'm sure there's lots to...
Yeah, and for a game that was released 19 years ago, was incredibly groundbreaking. I will say this about Deus Ex.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, it is.
It was released in the year 2000.
It was groundbreaking.
I talked about it very briefly on the episode of Goose Chase that I was on. Where I talked about Daikatana and Ion Storm. And the fact that Ion Storm's sister studio ended up making Deus Ex, which was a much better game.
Yeah, right.
It has a lot of philosophical potential in there. It throws a lot of kind of heavy concepts at you.
Yeah, it's good sci-fi that way. It opens a lot of stuff up to sort of allegory.
Exactly. It's fantastic sci-fi. And the only trouble with it is that it puts a lot of modern gamers off, I think. It certainly put me off from its difficulty at the beginning. But as you get more skill points and you unlock more skills, like by the time you get to mid game, you really start feeling the power, and that really drives you to push forward to the end.
Okay.
So I highly recommend playing Deus Ex, the original Deus Ex Game of the Year edition.
What a shame.
What a shame. It's on Steam. Definitely play it. Definitely do kind of whatever you feel, because by the time you get to like the late middle game, you will definitely feel as though you've mastered your chosen skills.
Okay.
Yeah.
It takes a while for
So
those.
you're saying it scales, like in a really good way. Like it's satisfying the way that
It scales in a really good way. It's not that apparent in the early stages of the game. So it might put you off early, but by the time you get to the end of the game, stuff starts becoming really easy as long as you play to your strengths.
Nice.
Really great game. The original Deus Ex, highly recommend it. And my second recommendation, I know earlier I was going to say the new Call of Duty, but I changed.
That's true.
I changed my mind, and I want to recommend Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, we haven't talked about that, have we?
That
I think Dan talked about it a little bit when,
Maybe he
when
did.
he was on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I 100% of that game.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
It kicks ass. It's really good. It's a lot of people are talking about it like, baby's first Dark Souls or whatever. and there are some optional
That's really funny.
bosses and challenges that fall into the Dark Souls purview of learn this boss's attack patterns, his telegraphs.
Yeah.
It can be as challenging as you want it to be, which I believe was the same praise I leveled on me as challenging as Winnowby. Whatever game it was.
Yeah, I can't remember either, but I feel like I remember you saying that.
Hitman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It can be as challenging of a game as you want it to be. But ultimately it's Souls-like in that you've got like bonfires, quote unquote, that you can rest at, these meditation spots.
Yeah.
It'll respawn your enemies, it'll let you build skill points. But in order to get your XP back, you have to attack the person that killed you the last time.
Oh, okay.
Oh, like Shadows of Mordor-y.
Right. So Fallen Order doesn't necessarily have original gameplay mechanics, but it blends them together in a really original way. And again, having 100% of this game, there's a lot of content. If you want to go outside of the main story, there's a lot to discover. There's a lot to find. There's a lot of upgrades and skills you can get. And really, it's not a very long game.
Okay.
But I ended it feeling really rewarded.
Any idea how many hours you put into it?
I believe at the end of it all, I put in about 23 or 25 hours.
With 100%?
With 100%.
That is short. I'm surprised, actually, how short that is.
It's fairly short. It takes up a bit of space.
Yeah, how much? 100?
No, not 100.
80?
No. I want to say like 40 or 50 gigs.
Oh shit.
Okay.
It's not much. It's not much.
How many Baby Yodas are in this game?
Baby Yoda.
None. There are no
None?
there are no Baby Yodas.
I see no reason to play. I'm sorry. Moving on. The Star Wars universe has moved on. If there's not Baby Yodas, we don't care anymore.
Don't act like that kid isn't fucking adorable. He's really fucking
That
cute.
Baby Yoda is fucking
How good
adorable.
was that? How good was that last episode too? By the way,
Oh, it was super
so
great.
good with Bill Burr. Bill Burr.
Bill, I like fucking freaked
Bill
out when
Burr's
I
in
saw
the
Bill Burr.
latest episode of The Mandalorian. Yeah.
Wait.
For real.
Yeah,
Just a fucking minute.
and he plays,
And he's good.
He plays Bill Burr.
Yeah.
You have to be kidding me.
Bill Burr
No.
as Bill Burr in the Star Wars universe.
Bill, imagine Bill Burr as a pistol-toting mercenary.
Baby Yoda.
I cannot believe this.
No, it's
What's that? You got
he's,
your-
he's really good.
Got
He's-
some Beskar armor there? Yeah. Is that what you got?
He's the best part of that episode. He really
Yes.
is.
I believe that. I just can't believe that Bill Burr shows up. It's so bizarre. It would be like if you're watching like a period piece on like Lincoln or something,
Yeah.
and then out of nowhere Chester Cheetah walks into the room. It's like, what the fuck is he
right?
doing
So-
here? That's pulling me
He's
out
good.
of this moment.
He's really good, man.
Yeah.
No, so the big draw of the Dark Souls series is the precision of its melee combat.
Yeah. Right.
And Fallen Order has that in spades.
Really.
So like the difficulty adjustment also adjusts the timing of stuff like your blocks, your parries.
Okay. Like how much give you have.
Right.
Okay.
So if you're playing on the hardest difficulty, it's gonna be fucking tough.
Right. Okay.
But you can you know, if you're playing on a difficulty appropriate to your skill level, you'll be like, you know, knocking back blaster bolts at your enemies. It's really it's a Jedi experience.
Is the hardest mode basically akin to the Dark Souls basic, or what?
I would say so. I played on the level just below that.
Gotcha.
There's 4 difficulty levels. There's story mode, Jedi Apprentice, Jedi Knight, and Jedi Knight, Jedi Master, and Jedi Grandmaster.
Gotcha.
I played on Jedi Master.
Yeah, that's usually where I start most of my games.
And that
is,
was-
like,
that was
second
a-
hardest.
And then the
Yeah,
tippy
that-
top is Jedi Grand Wizard, right?
No.
Of course not.
No, so that was appropriately challenging for me. But yeah, Fallen Order is really good. There's plenty of content to go through.
I want to play that game.
Plenty
really
of
badly.
challenge. There's an appropriate challenge for every skill level. There really is.
Yeah.
And it looks gorgeous. It's a great addition to the Star Wars lore. It takes place in between Episode 3 and Episode 4, where the rise of the Empire.
I think we were due for a really great, fun Jedi Star Wars game.
It takes a few visual cues, I think, from Jedi Outcast as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely. Yeah, from everything I've seen.
Which makes it all the better. It's the best single player Star Wars game I've played in a long time.
Nice.
It's very, very good. So I highly recommend Fallen Order for anyone who wants a good single player Jedi experience.
I dig it.
So those are my 2 recommendations. I took a bit longer than I wanted to.
But don't feel too bad because you're about to jump in on this one too.
Chris.
So actually, I was gonna recommend Halo, but I realized I don't.
We're not going to.
I don't need to recommend Halo because, like, dude, if you
It's
have a
fucking Halo.
if you have a PC, it's fucking Halo. Just buy the Master.
You already know.
You already know it's a Master Chief
You
Collection.
already know what it is.
Buy it and play with Ben and I, please.
I
Yes.
have already done.
Yes,
so.
Dave has already done that. So
will do so.
Anybody else listening,
Tomorrow
if you have
night?
PC,
Yeah, it's downloaded now.
let's do it. Whenever you're
Tomorrow
ready.
night. Let's fucking play.
Unless I'm doing Goose Chase.
Fuck.
We have
okay.
yet to figure out if that's happening.
Okay.
Well, let us know. So I'm gonna do a follow up recommendation, a short recommendation, and then my real recommendation. Follow up recommendation is also courtesy of Aubrey. She got me My Friend Pedro on Steam,
It's so
Yeah.
which Dave has previously recommended on the show. It is really good. Fucking play that game. It's a lot of. It's, you know what? I knew it was going to be fun, like having watched all the gameplay footage. And then I got to play it, and it's way more fun than I even expected from the gameplay footage. Really good.
You can tell to look at it that it's fun, but to play it is a different
thing. The controls are really tight, and it just feels right.
Yeah.
So get My Friend Pedro if you're on any system that you can get it on, PC, Xbox, PlayStation.
I will.
Worth it. Super worth it. Play on a gamepad if you're going to play. It's worth it.
Oh, I will.
I agree with that.
I will.
Gamepad.
Well, especially for the dual lock mechanic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you lock it and you aim it
That
elsewhere.
is an unintuitive thing on keyboard.
Yes.
You really need like 3 buttons to do that right.
So first of the actual recommendations, I'm going to try and keep this short. I want to recommend Fear and Loathing. As per usual. I want to recommend Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I recommended Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail 72 literally at almost this exact same time last year.
Oh yeah,
I talked about it. I talked about it a little bit earlier on the show.
Yeah.
If Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is about the death of the American dream, Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail is about how it's buried. If you haven't read Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, I'm not talking about the movie. I'm actually talking about the book by Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah,
the entire audiobook is available right now on YouTube for free. It's about 6 hours long. Somebody uploaded it and it has not been taken down.
So for the short term, you could actually get it.
So you can go and listen to the entire thing. It's about 6 hours long.
Actually,
on
if you
YouTube.
have YouTube Red, you could probably download it.
Yeah,
and hold on to it.
Yeah, and I have. So I'm going through. This is my third read through in my life, or I guess at this point, listen through.
Yeah.
Of this book. It's like whether you agree with how bad of a person he is in this book, it's an American classic. It's a really, really great novel, and like a really important novel to like explain the thought process and mentality of the people who were our age in 1970, coming off of the wave of the hippie movement and the love generation.
Right.
The hippie movement kind of like hits.
It's crescendo.
Yeah, it kind of like meets Earth.
Yeah,
right.
There's a great passage in the book which I read a long time ago. Was the passage that Hunter Thompson, whenever asked to read part of that book in public, was the passage he always chose. He's talking about how the sense in the 60s of the love generation was no matter whether there was no winning or losing, you just felt like what you were doing was right. And you didn't have to fight to win. You were just winning because you were right. And he said, standing out on the hotel floor in Las Vegas, you could look out west and see the watermark where the wave rose and eventually broke and crashed down.
I remember that from the movie.
So that's
the most powerful part of the movie.
The cool thing about the movie is that it's like, for all the critics who shat all over it, it is a very, very faithful adaptation of the book. Almost verbatim. It's just it has to edit out parts of it.
Who can shit on that movie?
I don't know. It's really good.
Yeah, but it's also like kind of. I can understand people who
don't understand.
Like
it.
as a movie, it doesn't play like a lot of movies.
No, it's very, very different. But that's not the point. If you ever read the book, you'd get it.
Right. But if you just walked into a theater because Johnny Depp is in this thing,
sure, you wouldn't.
You might not be that happy with it.
But read the book, or if you're like me and it's really hard to find time to sit down and actually flip through pages now, listen to the audiobook. It's for free on YouTube. For like, if you have 6 hours in your car at any point in the next couple weeks, you can go on YouTube and type in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas audiobook and listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
It is really, really worth it. It's a great story. It's one of the greatest American novels in the last 100 years.
Yeah. Hunter S. Thompson doesn't really get the place in the canon that he deserves.
No, he and like the
and
thing for me,
give it 50 years, he will.
Agreed, absolutely,
sure.
But give it to him, and like I recommend. That's why I made it a point to recommend last year Fear and Loathing on the Vegas Campaign Trail, because it is just as good, or in a lot of cases, better.
He'll be right up there with Harper Lee at some point.
Yeah, I would think
for
so.
different reasons. Yeah,
like people who represented their era and their conundrums in ways that
the counterculture of the era.
Did.
Yes,
yeah, sure. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Right. So yeah, worth a listen through or worth a read if you can get your hands on a physical copy. But if not, it's for free on YouTube. The actual recommendation I wanted to make, the main one, is on YouTube. You should go to SB Nation's YouTube page and look up a John Boy's original. We've talked about John Boy's on the show before.
Oh yeah.
I want you to watch parts 1 and 2 of a series that he did called The Bob Emergency.
I love The Bob Emergency.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh man. Okay, so The Bob Emergency, I don't know a good way to explain it. You kind of only understand it if you understand John Boyce. The Bob Emergency is
the statistics nerd of statistics nerds.
Right.
Yeah, just a math geek who gets to talk about sports all day long.
You know what? Actually, that's a great way of looking at it. He's a math guy who talks about sports.
Yes.
Not a sports guy who talks about math.
Yeah, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
He's a sports fan who took a career in math, and then he just happened to get a job working at a prolific sports magazine.
And because he keeps killing it, they just kind of keep stepping back and letting him
do what he wants.
Yeah.
Right. So
which is how you get this.
It's not just the numbers. It's not just the math. It's his conclusions from the math and his poeticism.
Yeah.
Yes.
Poetic narrative sort of creations.
This is a really good example of that. The Bob Emergency, for people who aren't familiar with what it is, the Bob Emergency is John Boy's examination of the people in sports whose name is Bob, and an example of how that name has declined throughout the years.
Yes, the frequency and incidence of the name Bob across not just one sport, right? I mean,
But every sport. He takes
sport.
every sport, every major, anything that could be construed as a professional sport, he takes into account.
I'd like to bring up the former existence of the website shutthefuckupbobairy.com. Pittsburgh Penguins commentator Bob Airy.
Shut the fuck up, Bob Airy.
Notoriously saying things that a normal person would knock on wood for, that he did not knock on wood.
Cursed broadcasts.
So the Bob Emergency examines how the name, not just in sports, but just in general, how the name becomes really prolific and a main staple, and then how it starts to decline. Where, if I remember correctly, after having watched it, by the end of the story, there's only 8 Bobs left in professional sports.
Which,
by the time he makes this documentary,
which mathematically is a tremendous fall off.
A dearth of Bobs.
a bevy of
no, not a bevy.
No, not a bevy.
It's
a black hole of Bobs.
A drought of Bobs.
A critical Bob
famine
shortage.
of Bobs. But I don't. He basically he examines the name, the story of all the Bobs and great Bobs in sports and why they're great, and he does not just the great Bobs, but the silliest, the weirdest Bobs. He does. I can't remember the guy's name.
There's so many noteworthy Bobs.
Yeah, there's a guy's name who escapes me at this point, but there's a Bob who was a professional boxer who lost every single professional boxing match he ever took part in.
Oh yes, and kept on fucking
fighting
like
for some reason.
True hero. He just kept getting in there.
This guy who fought in the 30s and 40s, and then for some reason John Boyce drug him up out of obscurity,
right?
And
a Bob that the world forgot.
Yeah. So it's just a really cool examination, and it gives a lot of history to these guys who you maybe wouldn't have otherwise seen. Mm-hmm. And I think more importantly, the moment of this series that I think is the best part. Mm-hmm. At the beginning of part 2, he does an examination of Olympic long jumper Bob Beamon.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm trying to remember.
So he does an examination of Olympic long jumper Bob Beamon, and he basically does a detailed explanation of this guy's life in about 10 minutes and explains how he got to where he was. It's basically this guy who's a black long jumper, collegiate long jumper, who makes his way onto the U.S. Olympic team. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to spoil anything, but the section of this documentary where he talks about Bob Beamon is spine tingling and inspirational. And if it doesn't make you choke up in a very real, very visceral way, I don't know, man. I'm
not actually sure I saw this. I'm not actually sure.
I'm gonna have to show it to you.
I'm not sure I saw the second part of the Bob Emergency.
I'm gonna have to look. We're gonna have to look at Bob Beamon. He basically talks about this guy who is a black Olympic long jumper who had to fight through like all the fucking bullshit of the 1960s to even participate in his sport.
Yeah.
And the loneliness that goes along with that, and the ultimate triumph that goes along with it. And the way that John Boyce presents this guy's story, this little niche of sports history, is so moving and genuinely tear-jerking.
Okay, that's John Boyce's actual stock and trade.
Yeah,
That's what he actually does so well.
To make you care about this little tiny part of something, and to make you feel something very deep for it. I think you can actually find snippets of the Bob Beamon thing. I'll put it on for you guys when we go upstairs.
Gotcha.
It's beautiful. It's actually very, very moving and very inspirational to watch this little part of the story. And it's just one little small subsect of this whole story that he paints of all the Bobs in sports. Yeah. And he manages to make something as silly as that really sad and poetic in a
Here's
weird
kind
way.
of what I think the real message is that if you take any strange selector, any weird criteria, any route into the endless data of sports,
you can find stories that are moving.
Yes, there's a story that means something.
Yeah.
And like people named Bob is a very silly selector.
Yeah.
But if you follow that trail, that's the real point. Sports are human stories.
Yeah.
Sports are deep human stories.
Absolutely.
Their players matter. The games matter. The environment in which they take place matters. What they like so sports stories are human stories.
Right.
It doesn't matter what slice of that pie you cut into, you're going to get something that's going to move
And John
you.
Boyce magnifies that to such a high degree.
Because he's so good at it.
Because he's very good at it, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it plays off of the assumption as well that Bob, by necessity, is a very ordinary name.
Right. It's a common name, or at least it was.
Right. Yeah. You have Bobby Orr.
Yeah, right.
Bob Airy.
This is specifically dedicated to people whose names are Bob.
Yeah.
He discludes Robert and Bobby.
Yeah, right.
Specifically.
Oh, he discludes Bobby.
He goes specifically for Bob.
I forgot about that, but you're right.
Okay. Okay.
It's worth a watch. It's in 2 parts. It's about an hour and 40 minutes total.
Yeah.
If you watch both parts, I think.
I gotta see that second part.
well, I'll put the Bob Beamon part on for you guys when we go upstairs because it is really.
Yeah.
It gets me to almost gets me to tears every time I watch it because he presents it so well. It's really moving. So go on YouTube, type in the Bob Emergency onto your YouTube search bar and watch it if you have like an hour and a half or so. It's really, really worth it. And go watch all of John Boy's stuff because he's really good, man.
He's pretty good.
Everything he does, he's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
But yeah, check
All
it
right. Well, you know what, guys?
So
we have completely shattered the 3 dudes' promise to
out.
keep it under 2 hours.
You know what
Yeah.
it is this is the season finale, and we haven't really come to grips with it yet.
As we approach 3 hours,
We're
Yeah.
going to be moving to season 4.
as we approach
that's crazy.
3 hours, what, if anything, have we learned?
I've learned things. Have you learned things?
I need to learn what my
learned a
persona is.
Couple things.
No, you don't. You're turkey.
Are we going to go with turkey?
No, you don't have to. But I wrote skunk, turkey, and mongoose. Best.
I think you're right. You know what? The more I think about it, I think a turkey is right.
Turkey and mongoose.
Yeah, while a mongoose
All
would
right.
probably murder a turkey, and definitely a skunk would, in my fantasy, we're all best friends.
I'm gonna commission some furry artist to do that.
Please do.
Please do.
That'll be a thing. I'm not gonna commission him. I'm gonna draw it my fucking self. I learned that. What did I write down? Oh, I'm here to synergize our core competencies and chew bubblegum. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
That's weird.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
I learned that the holiday season shouldn't be more stressful than work.
Yeah, that's true. I learned that your territory manager wears a coonskin cap.
I
Rides a
learned.
train, maybe? I don't know.
Right, sure, whatever, fuck it.
I learned that I want Frank Reynolds to be my president.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, why not?
The better option.
I wrote down the thing in the wing. Which is a really smart way to address the president.
The thing.
Why has that not come up?
The wing.
I think you just came up with something really smart there.
I'm gonna put a star on the thing in the wing.
You should trademark that. I'm just saying.
Gonna start making T-shirts. Woo!
I am not insane.
I learned that this is actually the Three Dads show.
It sure is.
After our extended dishwasher segment,
we talked for like 10 minutes about dishwashers.
Way too long about
a stupid
and
thing.
The Piranha hard food
What's this
dispenser.
wee shit? I was
Yeah, right. He left. He bailed because he's hip. We're fucking lame, dude.
I'm in tune with the kids. I'm hip. I know about Pokemans and Beyblades. I learned that.
Oh my God.
I learned.
What did you write?
I learned that you're gay if you get off in front of dicks. Obviously,
that's right. Remember that time you sucked that guy's dick?
Oh,
in
I
front
remember.
Of dicks?
I got so mad that I had to suck his dick.
Yeah,
right
and you
there.
like shot his you shot his load all over the building.
Just immediately made you gay.
Right. You're fucking confused about your sexuality now.
And that's how gay happens. Obviously.
Hope you're happy your grandson's real embarrassed now. Because of what you did.
Yeah, you fucking weirdo. You're the weird one.
I wrote down that anger, well directed, is good for you and good for the world.
Agreed.
And good for the soul.
I wrote the sign of a smart person is being capable of explaining an abstract concept to a layperson who doesn't understand.
Yes.
Communication skills are somehow deeply fundamental to intelligence. I believe that.
Not a lot of funny stuff in my learn. I'm just saying that's like I actually learned something. This time.
Let's go back to that time you sucked that guy's dick in front of the store.
Fuck yeah. You fucking mean bastard.
I'll tell you what too. Being in IT for a year, having to explain the difference between Wi-Fi and internet is a real
that hurts my head.
Is a real chore. The best way I've found out is to explain internet as the water that comes out of your faucet,
say that.
and water and Wi-Fi as the faucet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right? Like
the internet
makes sense,
is
right?
the resource which has to be channeled to you somehow.
Yeah. And Wi-Fi is the faucet.
Yeah.
And Ethernet is the garden hose that you put in your mouth.
Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
Everything good?
I'm going to say yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Is that all we've learned?
I think so.
That's it. Oh, man.
All right,
guys,
cool.
this is like the end of the season.
Guys, thank
20
you for
episodes.
Thank you for 3 fucking years.
Oh, my God. You believe that shit?
Years
of doing this show together
of
and being
us
friends.
doing this fucking thing.
I can't even believe it.
And while I'm at it, thank you to our friends, our guests,
Yes.
all the people that we've been able to share this with in person or over the internet.
Yeah, Matt, Alec, Tyler, Aubrey, Christy.
You're gonna be better at this than me.
Yeah, right. You are going to be way better at this. Ross was on.
Ross.
Corey Suhar.
Corey Suhar.
Corey Suhar.
Pat Stoldryer.
Pat Stoldryer. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about Pat. We got to have Pat back on.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, Pat.
Goodness, I know we're missing. We have to be
Drew.
missing someone.
Drew.
Jesus.
Drew was
Drew was on
here.
this season.
Oh,
that was
God.
a great episode.
Yes.
That was a fantastic. That was the. She brought in advice column questions.
God, that was
exactly. I'm looking at what I learned that episode, and I learned that Zachary Quinto will hit your kid.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. The punch.
No matter what. Did we mention Dan already?
Dan, yeah.
I believe we did, but yes, Dan.
I'll bring up Dan again.
who's
Dan,
been-
I think, is
been on a
currently the
while.
reigning champion for.
It's between Dan and Christy for like the most appearances, and I think
Are,
it might,
are you sure it's not between Dan and Alec?
No, it's between Dan and Christy.
Okay.
Christy's got one more than Dan, or than Alex.
and Aubrey is also in that mix.
We haven't had Trish in there.
No, we haven't.
Yet.
I have to convince her to if she ever wants to come on the show. The thing is, Trish is like not great under pressure when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Sure.
The thing is, you don't have
By her own admission. Yeah, I've told her.
You don't
that.
have to be
can
like
definitely come
comfortable
on
talking. You could just sit there and chime in when you feel like it.
Sure.
Right,
That's
right.
part of what we do here.
Yeah.
So yeah, season 4 is coming up. We'll be back in. Oh Christ.
couple of weeks.
Maybe less than
I'm thinking about 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, 3-4 weeks. We'll be back in maybe a month or so, less than a month.
We're normal people, folks. We have holiday shit to deal
we
with.
Do all the holiday
We've got
stuff.
figgy pudding to eat.
Yes.
Give us some figgy pudding, or we'll toilet your house.
Wait, we'll toilet your house.
We'll toilet paper your house.
Oh, okay. I was just like, what?
We'll cover your house in
I
toilets.
can't fit that into that measure.
We'll TP your house.
We'll TP your house. Right. There you go.
We'll toilet your house. You
We'll
fucker!
Your house.
You throw
a toilet
an
through
American
the front window.
standard right through the window.
Gonna spray paint fucking Trump sucks on the side of your
With
house and
my
diarrhea.
asshole. Yeah.
No, the next time you guys will hear us, it'll be the best of.
It'll be 2020.
It'll be 2020.
Not only will it be 2020, we will be in the 20s.
Oh my god!
The roaring
Stop
20s.
thinking about that.
20s.
Our girlfriends are gonna have to dress like ankle
vamps and
ankle showing sluts and listen to jazz.
Right, and they're gonna have huge bushes.
Hell yeah!
We're
going back, boys.
Wear bras that fucking
They have pointy nipples.
We're gonna get them drunk in speakeasies.
Yeah.
And we're gonna take advantage of them in speakeasies.
Oh man, I'm gonna grow a giant mustache and punch everyone.
I'm gonna fisticuffs any motherfucker who dares to step to my honor.
That's right. I'm gonna fist anybody who comes within me. What?
I'm gonna smoke opium in public.
I'm gonna be racist.
Yeah,
In public.
this time.
I'm gonna say things like
Oh no!
I'm gonna call everyone boy.
I'm gonna call everyone
You
boy.
there, boy.
I'm gonna call everyone, hey, you whose skin is darker than me.
I'm gonna use monogrammed gloves to slap children.
Hey, you who hails from China and generally practices Buddhism.
That's a very nice way to put that.
I'm gonna disparage people that use the wrong mustard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anything other than ballpark is wrong.
Well, we'll
Wrong.
find out.
More like wrong part.
No. I'm sorry. Say that again louder. And
No,
clearer.
I'm not. We're done. Hey, we'll be back.
Hey, you person of Eastern Asian descent.
This is the
You there, Chinaman.
Yeah, there you go.
You there, Chinese American person. I respect you and honor you.
All right. Let's
call this.
Stop this.
Thank you for tuning into whatever the fuck this was on season 3.
A solid 3 hours plus.
We'll be back. Wow. That was a little. You know what? It didn't feel that long. We'll be back.
Fuck you guys. You're on break.
Yeah, fuck you fucking pieces of shit.
You're on holiday. You can listen to our show.
Suck off, you fucking losers.
Suck off.
Yeah.
Play this episode while you play Master Chief Collection with us.
Yeah, that's right.
The Three Dudes Clan.
Play with your fucking dicks, you losers.
We will be back in the middle of January for more of this.
Yes, the best of will be coming up, in which we will make several rules for the next season that we won't follow.
You're goddamn right we will.
That's the
Bubba.
Three Dudes promise.
Boba, you want to say something?
Bobo, say something. No, to him, you fool.
Okay, he doesn't want to say anything. He's shy.
All right. We'll see you. Thank you again for being our friends and for listening.
Yes.
And thank you guys for giving me something to look forward to every other Tuesday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
We'll see you. Thanks for listening. Goodbye, 2019.
Have a beer.
Later,
Jack
losers.
off.
And
go to bed.
To
Bed.
bed.
Oh, fuck, I farted.
Fuck.